or whatever. Good morning and welcome back to Gaming with ADHD. It is Tuesday, our new regular night for doing deep dives, and I am your host, Brian, and I am joined, as always, at least for this series, by, my good friend Max. How you doing, Max?
I am doing well. That's all you're getting from me today. I'm done. I earned my $800 that he paid me to be on the show.
Wait, I paid you?
Yeah. Well, you gave me admin access. Guess where things went.
Uh-oh.
No, everything's good. Back to work and doing all that and trying to wrap up the year for Legion of Myth. So gonna have a pretty big members only live stream in a couple of weeks, and got some pretty hefty changes that are happening. Not so much on the outside, but a lot on the inside that are happening. So hopefully members of Legion of Myth will come by during that live stream to find out what we're changing, what we're updating, and how we're gonna anger some folks.
Anger, but Legion of Myth would never anger folks.
No, we would never go back to ranting, even though that made us the most money.
All right, I've never had the guts to go rant mode. I don't think I'm good at ranting.
I don't think I'm good at ranting, but you know what? It's the thing with me, and I don't know. I'm sure there's a particular type of brain or whatever that works for. There's some people who are just off the cuff. You got those battle rappers and comedians and so forth who can just off the cuff go pop pop pop. Right? That is not this guy.
No.
On the flip side, you give me 20 minutes to write an email, and I'll get somebody fired from the presidency. So yeah, it just kind of depends on what forum I'm at on if my rant is going to work or not.
Yeah, I am not aggressive enough, and so that didn't work. Awkward.
What's up?
Oh, just I just like the little bit of social media sharing I do on this, and it's like I'm like, okay, it's done, and I just left it, and then I came back, and it's like, oh, this didn't work. I'm like, what do you mean it didn't work? But I resubmitted it, and it worked. So.
I basically agree, Malachi. And the worst thing right now in terms of ranting is one of the things that I really, 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 really hate about the YouTube sphere. And I don't know what causes this, and I'll let anybody out there, talk to me if they think that I've been part of this. But is when they lose enemies to rant about or attack, they start ranting and attacking friends, and I've never understood that. That's just something that like I don't think I've ever attacked. Sure, we might have some quibbles or whatever, but I don't think I've ever attacked anybody in even the wider circle of people that I would hang out with, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't understand when people do that either. It's like, that's one thing that I've tried so much to do with my channel is just keep it. It's like, no, I'm just talking about the games. I'm just doing reviews of miniatures. I'm just, like I'll be a little more like open about like my opinions and stuff, like when I'm doing like a painting stream, because I kind of treat those as sort of like an AMA sort of situation. But yeah, it's I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, no, so we used to do on Legion of Myth. I wasn't much part of this. I was behind the scenes doing everything, but because it would have been 2 a.m. my time when I lived in Germany, Heathen Dog and Garthon, and before then there were a couple other people before Heathen Dog jumped on board. But Garthon would do comic book reviews, and Heathen Dog would do he'd alternate every other week between tabletop role-playing games and anime. And because, I'm not saying because, there are a few other factors involved, but they largely kept it family friendly.
Mm-hmm.
And to some degree, hate to say it, kind of boring because of that. Now, they're not boring people, but, sitting there and just kind of relaying, almost like what we're doing here, Except we're adding fun to this, with our side commentary, because today we're going to find out how to buy golf carts. But but you get what I'm saying. Like there's only so much they could do by keeping it family friendly. As soon as that show dropped after 5 years, and I stepped in, I talked to Heathen Dog and said, "This is my thing." And at this point, this was a 2018 or 19, I think it was. I said, "Look, we're going to talk about games, but we're also going to blast the hobby for its nonsense." And when we did, we shot up to 5,000 subscribers pretty quickly. Now, are those people still watching today? Not so much. A few are, but not so much. But because we did transition, 3 years ago now? 2 years ago? I don't know. Because we tapered off the rants. We stepped them down at one point, and then we ended them like a year later.
Right. I think it was 2 years ago, because I think I found you 3 years ago and you were still doing rants.
Okay. Feels like it's been longer than that, but either way, and yeah, a lot of that, not all, but a lot of that community has left. There's a few hangers on. Thank you to all of those. But like Malachi said, because he was back during the rant days, like, yeah, they got tiring, man. Like I got bored of them.
Yeah, it's like, well, and it kind of goes to my comment in the Battletech channel talking about Gothic. It's like I'm tired of having to quote unquote hate everything. It's like, oh, these people are doing this, I have to hate it. These people are doing that, I have to hate it. And it's just like, I want to enjoy the things that I like. Now, admit, I'm not trying to say that you have to like Gothic. I'm not trying to say you have to like.
No, I get that. But I guess my counter to that is this. I think you and I have talked about this. I know I've talked about this with a lot of people. Absolutely, I separate the art from the artist. Let me just use an example. My favorite band of all time is Queensryche. They're very anti-right wing. Well, this guy is very right wing, okay? But they didn't so ham-fist the music that you couldn't listen to it. The problem with something like Catalyst is that when you say we can't have if you just quietly take out the Rommel tank and phase it out over time and just be like, you know what, that was part of the history, but just like lambs, they've just kind of faded away, and we got new things. Nobody's going to say anything. But when you go out there like, nope, the Rommel tank can't be there because Rommel was a Nazi and you could never portray Nazis. Then you have put your politics in the game, and I absolutely do get to hate that. And I should hate that because you're an idiot.
Right. And absolutely, and that I don't disagree with any of that. I'm not even saying people can't have those opinions. Now I completely forget what the point I was going to make was.
Well, you're saying that you don't want to hate everything just because it's kind of the thing to do. Like everybody's just like, we got to hate it because it's got people I don't like.
Right. Well, right. But the thing is that doing these kinds of shows, there needs to be at least some pushback. There it's kind of funny. I'm wanting to do a deep dive on Gothic, partly because I think it would be fun and I think it would annoy some people. But I also want to I don't think you can necessarily do it because of time, but I think it would be absolutely fun to have you on there because of your general opinion, but also your approach to games, that we could end up having a good discussion. We can
so something like Gothic itself, conceptually, like I was telling you, I think off screen, but like I was telling you last week, my biggest issue with Gothic is the fact that it has the Battletech label on it. If you want to make a game that follows Battletech rules, and it's by Catalyst, and anybody who plays Battletech will be able to just look at it and say, okay, this is cool, it's just demons and so forth instead. Zero issues with that. Zero. The second you put the Battletech name on there, and I understand you're trying to be cheeky, you're trying to be like, oh look, we can think outside the box. No, but it's dumb because it's not Battletech. Okay, it has nothing to do with Battletech. Don't put the name on there. Just say, inspired by Battletech. That's my point with it. I don't have a problem that it exists, none whatsoever. Yeah. Again, if you're going to put in there, we'll just say, DE. I'm going to go both sides. You're going to put DEI in there, or my Second Amendment, or my religion, or what was it? My secularism, whatever. If you're going to put those things in there in a context that says that the player is beneficial by doing that, or a full page spread, Like I loved it when what's his name? Oh my god, Sandy Peterson was on Rob Norris' show. And I didn't know who Rob Noor was from Adam until this, but Sandy Peterson was on there. And I actually asked, I super chatted in Sandy, because, he created Call of Cthulhu, right? What do you think of people who create games based on Cthulhu mythos, based on H.P. Lovecraft's works, but have a full page spread in there about how he's such a horrible person and you hate everything about him? And he said the right word. They're parasites. I don't give parasites money. That's the way I look. I don't give money to people who hate me, and I don't give parasites money, in that regard. But Gothic by itself, my issues with Catalyst and all of its nonsense.
Oh, sure.
My issue, I don't buy modern Battletech because I don't like anything that they've done with modern Battletech. Literally, I mean, you and I will argue about this until the cows come home. We do a lot of this discussion after the streams are over, folks. We talked for almost 2 hours last time, right? Like,
I was saying, sometimes wives get upset over it.
Yeah, sometimes wives get upset over it. Mine roofied me just to get me away from the. But no, the thing is like, I forgot what I was saying. Something I don't like Catalyst. I don't like anything that's happened with BattleTech. There's nothing that Catalyst could do other than, well, let's say, they release a first Succession War book. Now, to be fair, that's been done. But, they release some Terran hegemony. They're going to release some adventures, some tanks, some concepts, and we're going to have an entire year where we just focus on the Terran hegemony. I might come back. I might be, okay, I'm in. This is cool. But you're doing anything, clans already are iffy for me. And then anything post-clans, it's just been crap. It's just been crap. It's not been well thought out. It's been uninspired. It seems like it's throwing crap at the wall and seeing what sticks. And that's it. Like that's so there's nothing, and this goes back, to be fair, this goes back before Catalyst as well. There's just nothing that they could do to inspire me to come back to the game. This whole thing of the rules changes, the little bit that I've read in terms of like the beta testing they're doing for change the rules of Battletech, they can take 2 middle fingers on that one. I won't do it on Brian's stream, but just imagine right now, I'm putting 2 middle fingers out there for that. There's nothing wrong with the Battletech rules.
How do you really feel, Max?
Oh, I could go on for hours on this.
I know you.
But that's not even a rant. Oh, you want me to rant? I won't do that to Brian's channel. But that's the thing. So when I see things like like what WotC did with Dungeons and Dragons, with what Catalyst has been doing with BattleTech, you can always argue, well, they're still making money. Yeah, because they either sell to the people that I can't stop collecting. My favorite game of all time, that it still to this day hurts me that I don't collect. Like, I feel physical pain inside when I don't get the next book that comes out, and I have not bought a book since like 2016. I refuse because of what they did. What they did with the company, what they did with the product. And while I want to support and kind of know how the game system's moving forward, I don't need to. I'll just run it my way. I have all the core books before they ruined it. Right. That's kind of the way I feel about BattleTech. They don't need my money and I don't need their crap. So win-win.
Well, and with that said, I do think there is also a little bit of a third path on there, in that for me, I think I am at least trying to sort of thread the needle, as it were, because like I like the new miniatures. They're generally cost effective. Yes, I have my 3D printers, and I could just print everything that I wanted. But you know what? Having some official stuff is nice.
Sure.
And so I think there is an argument where you can support the good things and say, okay, these are products that we want, as opposed to, nope, I can't let you have anything because I don't like what
I want them to go out of business. I'll be completely upfront with you. I want these companies out of business. Now, my $1, my 1 shekel is not going to make that happen, but I literally want them out of business.
Sure.
So that's my mentality. They have broke the hobby, the game, and we'll just say invoked too much political nonsense in there that bye-bye. Well, have a nice life.
And that's the best part, is that everybody gets to make that decision. And I have never blasted anybody for making that decision. I've said, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And if somebody wants to do it different, That's
and then
fine.
then there are people that will sit behind the scenes going, and you're the one keeping them in business.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I don't hear you complain a lot about them, okay? Well, the ones that really make me angry are the ones like, oh, I hate this company. Here, have another $20. Okay, those are the people I don't respect at all. Okay,
Right.
I don't hear doing that. You've pretty much had, for what I'll take, I don't want to call it milk toast. That sounds insulting, but kind of a middle ground milk toasty
Yeah.
kind of like, hey, you know what? I'm doing this for me. I like doing this. You don't go ranting about them. You don't go, parading them. The yay, whatever. It fits who you are. The ones that really get under my skin are the ones that are like, I hate this and everything it stands for. Well, why'd you buy that book? Because I got to have it in my collection.
Right.
And I saw that a lot with 5e. I have friends of mine who will swear that 5e is the worst game ever, up and down, but their collection of 5e is bigger than my Earthdawn or Palladium collection. You're like, you hate it that much? Well, I got to have it in case my players want it. No, you just tell your players no.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I did in the second edition. They come in, I got the Barbarian's Handbook. It'll be a great. Just throw it over there. It's not going to be used in my game. What? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I said, for me, I try to kind of, go a little bit more middle of the road, because there are things that I want, but there are things that I don't want. A lot of the new Ill Clan stuff, I haven't cared. So I haven't even looked at it.
When are they coming out with Land and Sea?
It's up on Patreon right now for some playtest stuff.
Oh, okay.
So it is definitely coming.
Well, they're either doing a lot of playtesting, which, you know what, I can appreciate that, or they weren't as far along as they acted.
I don't think they were anywhere near as far along as they wanted to be. I think they wanted to get the world and the fiction fleshed out, and then move into the game again.
I think I'm one audiobook behind, because when I last listened to an audiobook, there was one left in the series that wasn't on audiobook yet. I think that one's finally on audiobook, and I got to grab that one. Believe it or not, I'm liking the series better than I thought I was going to. Like, I kind of thought it would be like a little fun Battletech-y thing. And no, it's not Brandon Sanderson. It is not J.R.R. Tolkien, and it is not who's the George R. R. Martin or whatever. It's not that kind of fare, but it is way better than your typical Dungeons and Dragons, Star Wars, arguably BattleTech, whatever fare. Like, I think it's kind of like in the middle, where one's teen oriented, one's like adult oriented. This is kind of like, mid-level, late-ish high school, college,
I don't know. I gotta say, my personal favorite is book 6. The commander in there of
who dies at the end?
Yeah, the guy that dies at the end. Kind of awesome. Kind of a
except for you'll never come back.
I know.
That was cool though. I have to admit that was cool.
That was like it was one of those things where I was super excited. And the funny thing is, I hadn't read the book. I hadn't been told any spoilers about what was happening. Probably afterwards.
That's good. No, that's good.
Well, no, but Blaine actually said a couple of things, and he's like, you should have picked up on it at the beginning. Like my call sign, Crockett.
I didn't put that together until now.
Same.
Did you have your Alamo moment, sir?
I mean,
were the walls coming down? I mean, were those Mexicans? No. Wait a minute. They were aliens. Ooh, sorry, I'm on your channel. I shouldn't do that. That is so wrong of me.
Right. So, anyway, so the thing is, the whole time I'm talking with people online, all sorts of stuff. I'm like, oh, Captain Crockett says hello,
From the grave. So I'm not on my Ouija board. Leave me alone. See, anyway. Brian Wade, king of the wild frontier.
Anyways, if anyone is curious, Land and Sea book 6, my name was used. I do not. Spoiler alert: I don't survive the end of the book. But I got a really cool character. So, anyways, it was great. All right. On that note, we've been ranting for 20 minutes, and that was even.
Well, that's after you started the stream.
So, how about we get into this, Max?
Oh, yay, currency. If we have the Fed for the United States, right, the Federal Reserve, would we have the commie for the inner sphere, for the C bill. And you can never trust commies. I mean, Capellan Confederation is the place to live. You can be a citizen.
Commies aren't people either, so there's that. So real quick, folks, before we get started, if you are new here, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We do these deep dives once a week. I have a rotating cast of guest hosts, and it's been an absolute treat being able to do this with Max. Don't forget, folks, for the rest of December, we are doing this on Tuesday. I'm not going to ask you all to show up on Christmas or New Year's Eve. That would, be stupid. And so we're doing it for Tuesdays until that's done and we start the next series. Let's see. Oh, also, it'll be linked down below. If you haven't met Max or Legion of Myth, go check out his channel as well.
We're going to have a good one on Sunday.
At 7 a.m. Arizona time.
Oh, yeah. How do you think I feel? Yeah, it's 8 a.m. my time, 9 Eastern, but we're being polite to to the business partner of Palladium Books because he's like, I want to come in. No, kidding. No, he's in Thailand, Taiwan, not Thailand. Taiwan. So if we were to stream, it wouldn't be convenient for him to be there by any stretch of imagination. He kind of has to be here for this one. So
that's fair. Hold on just a second. Oh, come on. There we go. I haven't banned any.
Oh, it'll be public. And the concept for those of you who know, while we're waiting for Brian, the topic, the general topic, although Sean threw in a whole ton of additional topics on top of that, is basically the Palladium philosophy. What is their philosophy for playing at the table? What does it mean when we say that Palladium is a framework and not a law book? And then a whole bunch of other stuff that Sean added to the list. Basically, get this right, get that right, get that right, get that right. It's all aimed at me. Don't worry, it's not you guys. Most of you guys are like, But I think maybe I might have got under Sean's skin just a touch in terms of some of the things that have been said. But, I don't pull punches. He doesn't pull punches, and that's fine. It's one of those things. So it's like, if I think something's dumb, I'm going to say it's dumb. If I think something's great, I think it's great. Apparently, we have one misconception that he thinks I said something's dumb that I think is great. But whatever. We'll talk about that on Sunday. It'll be a fun time for everybody.
Exactly. And that's what we're here for.
A fun time talking about currency.
No, we're talking about economics.
And what's the first section?
Well, shut up. All right, so real quick, this is the economic section, but I'm going to start this off by what I was looking at this and I kind of realized, to me, this is the treasure section. So as a Mechwarrior, what is it that you are out there fighting for? Okay. Because it's Battletech. Chances are you're not doing it for king. You're not doing it for country. You're doing it for
what? No, sir. We're all here under the Corvin Doctrine and the Lorix Order, that we can know that only the Liao family can take us to the next era of humanity. I don't know what you're talking about.
Look, I'm here for the cold hard cash.
And that's why we send you in the front and then run away.
Anyways, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. We actually, you know what? How do I do this? Start a poll?
House bills or C bills?
Do you want? Okay, I'm starting a poll real quick, folks, to cover the, should we call it the lore section? We'll call it the lore section.
Yeah, that's basically.
There we go. Okay. So I'm starting a poll. Please do, answer it. Because basically we're probably going to get through this today, but then the real question does come into, do we cover the last section, and would everybody be super bored if we do so? So we want to know what you guys want to hear about.
We'll sing it. It's Christmas Carol time. We'll sing it.
I am not singing it, and I don't think Shinatsu wants you, or Noro wants you, singing it either.
It doesn't matter what she wants. I'll get one good time of doing that, and then I won't have a larynx left to even be able to talk.
All right, well, let's get into this.
Yeah.
Currency. During the period of Star League dominance, interstellar commerce was based on the exchange of League script, issued against a standard of germanium stored in Fort Knox on Terra. Germanium, the material composing early Quantum 2 Kearney Fuchida hyperdrive cores, was the accepted measure of wealth during this era, though the script's actual value depended more on the general confidence the business community had in the Star League government. Indeed, the amount of paper in circulation exceeded the amount of stored metal by a factor of 15 or 20 to 1. Gee, sounds like current economics.
Did we start?
Yeah. The events of 2766 to 2785, which led to the Succession Wars, destroyed the underpinnings of the Star League economy and ushered in nearly a century of financial chaos. Upon naming themselves First Lords of the League, each of the heads of the 5 successor states issued a new League currency bearing his likeness. Individuals were allowed to exchange their old League script for these new currencies at a sharply unfavorable exchange rate, because each lord extracted a 25 to 50% fee to fund his war efforts. League script soon became worthless in the open market, as it became apparent that no one was going to win the First Succession War and restore the old currency to its former standing. In the meantime, the succession crisis began to have a radical effect on interstellar trade as well. During the 2 centuries immediately prior to the wars, the economies of many worlds had become extremely dependent on trade to provide them with essential raw materials, maintenance services, and spare parts. As the succession war intensified on every front, free traders soon found their livelihoods threatened by the constant danger of attack, the risk of having their vessels confiscated by a house government for use in the war effort, and the refusal of the various houses to accept the script of its adversaries as legal currency. By the beginning of the 29th century, commerce between worlds slowed to a trickle, driving many colonies to starvation and collapse. So,
what did we learn, kids?
We learned that even, 1,000 years from now, governments are still going to screw with us.
That Bitcoin didn't take off.
Bitcoin did not take off. Sell it all now. Get out while you can.
Yeah, make that price lower so I can go buy some more.
Yeah, this is not financial advice. Please don't trust me.
Or anybody on YouTube.
Or anybody on YouTube. All right, house bills. Following the first and second succession wars, the galactic economy was converted from the germanium standard, which no house had sufficient stockpiles to sustain, to one based on water and similar crucial resources. Beginning with the House of Steiner in 2823, the emerging successor states began to issue house bills against water supplies. So, Dune?
Yeah.
Gradually, a loose set of exchange rates began to prevail, allowing the rebirth of a limited degree of interstellar commercial activity. House bills, or H bills today, constitute approximately 90% of all currency in the inner sphere. Each house issues its own currency, which varies considerably in value. An advantage of H bills is that they represent real wealth measured in terms of industrial strength and the availability of important natural resources. In the century and a half since the H bill standard has been in widespread use, it has become more or less the medium of exchange, assuming the value of letters of credit rather than certificates representing a fixed quantity of goods. So again, modern monetary theory has survived the next 1,000 years. Yay. When a small new world is established, it usually issues its own private currency, but then transacts most business beyond its domain through barter. There are a few of these worlds who require that outsiders deal in their own currency.
It'd be actually interesting if Battletech ever followed its own lore.
I mean, yeah, I honestly have never heard anything outside of C-bills.
Right. You haven't heard of them in the novels? You probably haven't heard of them at the table. I'm sure there's somebody out there. We did it at our table. Well, you're the weird one, and I want to join your table. But But generally speaking, nobody does that. They didn't want to do the conversion rates, and and I get it. Nobody wants to do the conversion rates, but you just never hear about, hey, how many L bills you got? What you talking about? I'm not diseased. Go away.
Well, and I think it is more important for a role playing game to have something like that. I actually think it is a little bit more interesting because if you think about it, in a game like D&D, you've got gold coins or silver coins or copper coins, whatever.
Or steel if you're on Kryn, the greatest land ever. That's the House Liao of Dungeons and Dragons.
That's the House Liao of Dungeons and Dragons.
And I just now got a whole bunch of people to never buy Dragonlance books.
And there goes the subscriber count. But I do think for a sci-fi, for a more futuristic game, it is better to have something like that. Although, yes, they did, actually, okay, this will be fun. Max, read us about C-bills. Mostly, and don't forget this parenthetical down at the end of paragraph 1.
Okay. The other important existing currency is the C-bill issued by Comstar. These represent credit notes for its services. As the value of C-bills is constant throughout the inner sphere, they can be used as a yardstick for all other currency. A C-bill has approximately the same purchasing power as $5 from the year 1986. Oh, I can light it on fire.
No, $5 was a lot. You could get at least
but it's the purchasing power of $5 in 1986, which now is worth like what, 50 cents?
Right. No, exactly. I mean, remember when you could get like a brand new GI Joe for less than $5?
A full tank of gas.
A full tank of gas.
Well, maybe not full, but I used to put $5 of gas in my tank, and it would last me a week. Because gas was like 79 cents.
Oh, when I was first married, dropping $5 just to get me for the next couple of days. Anyways, man, that was a long time ago.
We're old.
Yes.
All right. C-bills constitute about 10% of the inner sphere's currency. Their value based on a fixed amount of Comstar service transmission time or delivery distance. If only it was based on the amount of mechs that they had. The practice of issuing Comstar script was first approved by the First Circuit during the directorship of Conrad Toyama in 2835. The idea was to offer payment in kind for resources and services Comstar needed, as the organization had no natural resources or land of its own on which to base a currency. For the same reason, Comstar has always been dependent on its clients to provide essential sustenance for its comtechs. As a result, the issuance of C-bills has helped to replace the system of barter that often made life somewhat haphazard in the days when there is no viable alternative. Because of the high regard for Comstar throughout the successor states, not only are there C-bills accepted everywhere, they also serve as a medium for transferring currency, especially between enemy houses.
So, real quick, it's 10% of the currency.
And 100% of the novels.
And 100% of the actual use.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the games and novels, everybody's table. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Okay.
Merchants, both free traders and those associated with large commercial lines, suffer the most and benefit the most from the proliferation of various currencies. In eras where there was a fixed currency with a known value, it was harder to acquire a fortune, but wealth was secure once acquired. In the successor states era, fortunes can be made and lost with the meteoric fluctuation of H-bill values. You're a day trade you're an day H trader. I don't know, something like that. A canny merchant will often keep his capital diversified in the currency of several houses or in useful commodities that are sellable anywhere. Commerce remains a perilous endeavor. However, many of the most valuable commodities can only be obtained through scavenging, a practice that lies far beyond the protection of civil law. Dun, dun, dun. Page over here. Oh, I guess that's it.
All right.
Oh, look at that chart. Can you tell me how many L bills it is to an S bill?
0, because nobody's going to use Lao bills.
Wow. Wow.
I mean, at an exchange rate of 2.2 to 1.
Jeepers creepers, yeah.
I mean,
so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my Steiner bills, convert them to Liao bills, and then bump them up. No, that's the wrong way. I'm going to take my Steiner bills, make them C bills, and then Liao bills. I don't know. I'd have to look at the math on that. I know there's a way I can manipulate the system by just continuing to purchase the next houses. Goods.
Yeah, some currency arbitrage.
Yeah, I'm sure the freaking penalties on that, like, oh, well, thank you for the 100 C bills worth of L bills, but here's your 50 C bills worth of Steiner bills thanks to our fees.
Yeah, let's be honest. At the end of the day, folks, this is going to be a role-playing thing. This is like if your NPCs are trying to negotiate the contract or whatever, that's where you would use this.
What are you talking about? I'm doing this in my Vanguard account right now. Either that or somebody's swindling me. I own probably 10% of the Capellan Confederation right now. And once I hit that 20%, I'm a voting member. I'm on the House of Scions.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, it was a $20 buy-in to get that 10%. So it's really not that hard.
Why do I keep coming back?
I don't know. How am I making funny jokes? I don't make funny jokes. I'm not the funny guy.
I wasn't laughing. I was crying.
Anyway, but I do like it. I would be interested because I haven't looked and I'm not digging through it right now to see if in other Mechwarrior editions if they've changed up the conversion rate. Because they're at different points in the timeline. So could be interesting. All right. Mercenaries. Each of the 5 successor warlords has a sizable army of his own, but in the turbulent political climate of the Inner Sphere, the houses also depend for support on mercenary units. The advantages of mercenary life include flexibility of assignment, competitive salaries, and the choice of masters. Wolf's Dragoons are the most outstanding example of the successful mercenary organization. Although combat and their employers' shifting fortunes have certainly taken their toll on Wolf's Dragoons, the outfit has never fallen on the difficult economic times so common among other mercenaries.
BS! BS! Wolf's Dragoons cheats. Everybody knows that. They're just a bunch of stupid baby cheaters. They've got the cheat code. They hacked the game. Everybody knows it.
I mean, when you don't have to buy equipment.
Yeah, you got mysterious benefactors from the future. I mean, at least, okay, they weren't from the future, but that's how it looks to the Inner Sphere.
That's true. They did, like, I mean, and they brought back, they brought in at least one brand new mech that had never been seen before.
Oopsie daisy, our bad.
Right. Where did this come from? Despite the demand for their services, the economic woes of mercenaries are a direct consequence of shortages of parts and hard cash, both essential to the mercenaries' profession. Most mercenary units are at the mercy of their employers' integrity in remunerating their services, either in equipment or hard cash. Most houses will be unwilling to pay in C bills, especially those whose H bills have an unfavorable exchange rate. Others might be unscrupulous enough to send the unit into combat, knowing that it will come out in desperate need of parts, which the unit has to obtain from the employer. All mercenary units must therefore be on guard against employers who might want to make them too dependent. It is the Dragoon's private source of spare parts located somewhere beyond the Inner Sphere that allows them to sidestep this pitfall.
It's called cheating.
Yeah.
Wolf's Dragoons did in this game what Heathen Dog did when he was streaming Mechwarrior 5, and he went in and hacked and gave himself $999,999,999,999 in order to, float around the Inner Sphere with.
I might have done that.
Man.
Look, that was only on the repeat playthroughs. Actually, that's another annoying thing that I'm going to bring up, ADHD side quest. Okay. Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard, right? Am I mistaken?
Was it my... Oh, God, dude, I haven't followed video games for so long. Activision...
I thought Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard.
Well, I know Activision bought Blizzard, and then after that, I don't know. Maybe. Possibly. I'm sure somebody in the comments will say something. Yep, there you go. Yes, they did. See, look at that.
Right. Okay. So, why hasn't there been a re-release through like Good Old Games or whoever of the original Mechwarrior games?
Because they don't want the one good Mechwarrior game out there.
Mechwarrior 2?
No, Mechwarrior 1 was the only one that actually followed Battletech rules. And yes, that is my definition of a good game.
It was really good.
I love Mechwarrior. I had an 8088 Tandy computer. I would start the mission. I'd go walk the dog. I'd go make a sandwich because the game was based on your processor speed. People that had 286s, they could play and it actually felt like a normal game. 386s was kind of fast, but I had an 8088. So, yep, I could come back 45 minutes later. I'm finally in weapons range.
I couldn't play Mechwarrior on my 8088. That's
really?
how bad it was. Yeah.
Maybe that's the one good thing Tandy was good for.
Finally upgraded. It wasn't a Tandy.
No, I had a Tandy.
Yeah. But finally upgraded to a 386, and man, got to play that. Whew, it was great. All right, let's get back to this.
Yeah, where are we?
Let's see. They made one game with actual Battletech damage and armor levels because that's all it took to realize it was a shite idea. I love when nerds drops in comments.
I know. Why play a game right when you can just have giant stompy robots that do whatever the fuck they want?
You can play it in a browser now. That is the crazy thing. That is nuts.
Wait, okay. I don't remember that. You know what? And I might be misremembering because I haven't played in a long time, but I don't remember that game having pinpoint fire. But if it did, then I actually would agree with the nerd on that one. I've never agreed. Like even at the Mechwarrior Online, I hate the whole pinpoint fire thing. It should be conical fire. It's the best way you can simulate the die roll without just having it randomly going wherever, like having a real die roll. It should have been conical fire, but all the first-person shooter wannabes, remember, PGI and PIG at the time wanted that game to be an esport game, so they had to do pinpoint fire, which is not Battletech.
That's why I hate the game. It's not a Mechwarrior game. It's a first-person shooter.
Right. Absolutely. Well, the thing was, so I was a veteran. I got my little badge and all that stuff. I was a veteran backer at the highest level because, and I had it copied, and I probably said this on stream before. I don't know. I had a blurb copied from their fact page that said, "We are going to mimic Battletech rules as closely as possible." And I was like, "Yay!" And then as soon as they got all the veteran money and decided they wanted the first-person shooter money, they removed that. I kept calling them out on it. Like, remember when you had this? Remember when you had this? Remember when you had this? And then when they got all the first-person shooter money, they decided to do some sort of weird hybrid that pleased nobody.
It absolutely did not please me, and I didn't play it.
Yeah. No, and so a nerd, if that's the way the first Mechwarrior was, I just don't remember. It's been too long. Then I would agree with you on that. It should not be pinpoint fire.
It's Battletech. It's not that accurate.
Right.
All right. Thus, a mercenary unit's fortunes depend on the equipment and resources it possesses. These resources fall into 5 categories: mechs, FTL transportation, cash flow, spare parts and supplies, and technical repair personnel. A surplus or deficit in any of these areas can have a crucial impact on the unit's future. All right, let's go. Let's alternate. You go battle mechs, and I'll pick up on FTL transportation.
Ooh, I get the cool paragraph. Mercenary battle mechs. A mercenary unit's prospects for employment depend on the number and condition of its battle mechs. If the unit has more, better, or better repaired mechs, it can command a higher price for its services. Okay. By comparison, mercenary units whose mechs are weak or ill-repaired will not be in a very good bargaining position. Unfortunately, this situation tends to be self-perpetuating. Well-paid unit can keep its mech force strong and will be in demand. A badly damaged unit, however, often needs a lucrative contract to be able to afford restoration of its status. Yet, high pay is exactly what its damaged status no longer permits. That's when you just say, how about this? You belong to us. No, we don't want that. Well, you're going to anyway.
Doesn't matter at this point. Yo, your
You could play it on a smart fridge.
Your
I miss it.
Your outstanding balance, is rather high. All right, FTL transportation. Though most mercenary units do have their own dropships, not all of them have their own FTL transportation. Without their own jump ships, however, the outfit will have to hitch a ride with a commercial or military jump ship to get from one assignment to another. Both government and private corporations charge exorbitant fees and accept payment only in cash, making transportation a key point of negotiation in a mercenary contract. It should also be noted that as there exists only a finite number of jump ships, it is part of the casuistry, that is a word I have never heard of war in this century not to attack such vessels. The chances of acquiring a ship in the course of mercenary activities are vanishingly small.
I have learned more words in this book than I have in a long time.
Casuistry?
Casuistry. Oh no, just making. Can I answer Seraphis' question?
Of course.
He says, wait, do battle mech targeting computers not have a zoom function? They kind of do, but a couple of things. I'm sure you've read the novels before, Seraphis. If not, well, then the novels kind of talk about, targeting computers just aren't that great. They have a hard time getting locked. People are moving. Long story short, it's to represent the dice rolls. Does it make sense in the real world? Heck no. But this is why we love Battletech, because they found a way of ham-fisting dice rolls into the lore as well, and that's why your targeting computer sucks. Hopefully that made sense.
Casuistry.
This is going to be your next wiki?
A resolving of specific cases of conscience, duty, or conduct through interpretation of ethical principles or religious doctrine. Specious argument or rationalization.
So they rationalize it. So that's a rationalization to not attack such vessels. Okay.
Right.
I'm going to try to find a way to use that word at work tomorrow.
Good luck.
Yeah, my water cooler word. We don't even have a water cooler, but I'm going to do it.
I'm not saying you can't do it, but dear Lord, that one almost hurt my brain.
I'm going to forget how to pronounce it by tomorrow.
Yes. Casuistry. That's.
I still cannot pronounce. Hold on, I'm going to do it. Superfluous. God, whatever.
Don't worry. It's superfluous to not even be able to say superfluous.
Yeah. What he said twice. I know what it means. I just can't. I can spell it. I just can't say it.
Who was there? Oh, on our cruise last time, one of the entertainment people couldn't say veterinarian, and like he would try, and he's like, vet, screw you all.
My wife's Japanese. Make her say refrigerator. No, she can actually do it though. It's kind of depressing.
Anyways, I have a similar story, but we'll do that another time. All right. Tell us about cash flow.
I thought this was your paragraph. I'll take it though.
Oh, wait. No, I thought I did. No, I did jump ships. You did battle mechs. I did jump ships.
See, I don't pay attention when you read.
That's fair.
Cash flow. Sea bills are accepted throughout the inner sphere. Oh my God, I just now have a commercial that popped in my head. Sea bills are accepted throughout the inner sphere. Get yours today at the local airport. Anyway, sea bills are accepted throughout the inner sphere as a universal coin of the realm, but employers will most often pay mercenary companies with their crappy house currency. At times, this creates more economic woes for the unit, for there is no guarantee that independent worlds or other houses will honor the H bill of their current patron. Contracts are sometimes paid with a combination of cash, goods, and services. The extent to which a mercenary unit demands currency as part of its contract may indicate whether the unit intends to stay around for a while. The further one gets from the issuing house, the less chance the currency being honored. Feels like that sentence didn't really end properly, but there's a period there I stopped.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say about that.
Yeah, I got nothing. It started off being a commercial and ended up being, by the way, here's something you'll never see in a Battletech game.
Spare parts. A mercenary unit tends to keep quiet about its surplus or deficit of spare parts. Unless you're Wolf's Dragoons, then you just admit you have them all.
Cheater.
If a government or a mercantile patron learned that a unit desperately lacked a particular mech component, the price for that part would suddenly become astronomical. During negotiations, therefore, a mercenary mech unit is usually careful not to reveal its actual situation. Of course, it is also true that the availability of spare parts is often beyond the control of either the mercenary unit or its patron in some areas of the successor states, like House Liao.
You talk about House Liao treats mercenaries well.
I'm just saying they don't necessarily have a lot of extra spare parts for them.
I've got a bad joke, but it's at my own expense, so I'm not going to say it.
Centrance fragment is still a centrance fragment. Yes, Seraphis. Yes, it is.
Is that the Australian spelling of sentence?
Apparently.
I mean, I know they put U's in words and so forth that nobody asked for, but
Look, when your whole country is made up, you can make up words too.
That's fair. That is fair. I always wondered what actual secret location Australians existed in. My wife says she's been there, but the Japanese, they probably invented the Matrix and just plugged her in like it was what's that, Total Recall
or the Matrix. Oh, I saw something today, and look, folks, you come to Gaming with ADHD because you never know what squirrels are going to show up. Apparently, okay, so in the Matrix, humans are all in the cocoons because they're the power source. Okay, horribly inefficient. Sounds kind of stupid. Why would you do this? Okay, but actually, Malachi, I did see a squirrel on Sunday when we were coming back from California. He was sitting under the palm tree looking for nuts. Just saying.
Squirrel is euphemism. I'm just going to leave it there.
But apparently, I don't know if this is true or not, but it makes a lot more sense. Apparently, humans were supposed to be like the RAM and the CPU processor for the robots, which makes a lot more sense. But in 1998, who knows about CPUs and RAMs?
And I wasn't even a computer nerd.
Okay, but most people did not. Oh. Let's be honest, the internet really hadn't become a thing when the first Matrix came out. I mean, it was, but not really.
Oh, we all had our AOL, sir.
I never had AOL, thank you very much.
I had Prodigy and then AOL.
I wanted Prodigy. My parents would never buy it. Yeah. But then somebody's like, yeah, this was what it was supposed to be. But that would have taken its own movie just to explain. And it's like, that makes sense. So anyways, is it my turn or was it?
I think it's mine.
Yeah.
Because you did spare parts.
Yep.
Well, I'm reading technical personnel. You might want to install some spare parts. A mercenary unit lives and dies by its ability to make do with what it has. Units staffed with their own experienced technicians are more versatile than units without, and so these repair services have become specialized and very high-priced. If a mercenary outfit must depend on its patron services for repairs, the unit's wages are likely to be less.
Makes sense. Boom or bust. For all these reasons, mercenary units often find themselves in an inescapable cycle of boom or bust. A unit can realistically expect to complete only 5 to 10 missions a year because of the amount of time required to travel into and out system, as well as to perform the logistical tasks necessary to support such missions. A mercenary lance usually earns from 300 to 800,000 Seabill equivalents per mission. A mercenary unit must either obtain spare parts from its patron or buy them outright, depending on availability. Even when available, costs can fluctuate wildly, being directly related to the rapaciousness of the patron, the house, or the planet. The cost of repairs, additional equipment, replacement parts, and even ammunition can rapidly drain available cash. In addition, the upkeep of a mech costs approximately 5,000 Seabill equivalents per month, rations, billeting, and so forth. Mercenaries may often have to pay non-patrons for necessary services such as refueling and even money changing. This latter service can cost as much as 5 to 10% of the total amount, but is necessary for transactions with locals, who will only accept the currency of the indigenous house. The total earnings of a company over the course of a year, anywhere from 5 to 20 million Seabill equivalents, can be more than offset by the enormous overhead involved in operating a unit, paying its bills and expenses, and maintaining its hardware. Units capable enough or fortuitous enough to keep ahead of their financial obligations are few and far between. Units unable to manage their affairs wisely in the slowly eroding society of the inner sphere often get into trouble because of a lack of ready cash, though any of those other above listed factors can be the cause of the financial woes. Whatever the circumstance, the unit will most often be forced to sell its services for a lower price. This might also include yielding the right to salvage on the battlefield or scavenging from abandoned facilities or storehouses, both important sources of replacement parts and equipment. Mercenary organizations placed in this position vis-a-vis their employer are often unable to escape from the spiraling effects of the company store syndrome, whereby continued service with the same employer drives the unit deeper into debt, but no escape is possible until that debt is discharged. This happens most often in Merrick and Karita space, and a unit that is actually close enough to the border to jump sides will often do so. This has recently led to a gravitation of mercenary units to House Davian.
Yeah, that makes it sound like I really want to be a mercenary. Mercenary sounds like the best thing ever. Let's do it right now. Sounds like such a fun time.
I mean, yeah, like it doesn't really line up with what we expect, like especially like with Blackwater and all those kinds of organizations now. Yeah, like they're recruiting.
Well, let's be honest. We live at a time. Yes, there are mercenaries, but we live at a time where mercenaries aren't like what they used to. This is definitely based on the idyllic mercenary, where the Roman legions would hire, or the British Empire, whatever, would just hire tens of thousands of mercenaries and so forth. We kind of frown upon mercenaries now, and I know there's some like doing Ukraine, there's some in Africa, but you get what I'm saying. Like it's not like a common thing. Nobody goes down the street and says, "Yeah, I do mercenary work."
Right.
Where in the past you kind of could do that. But for me, again, because I'm a lore stickler, this just doesn't match anything that you read. It'll talk about, some mercenary units have hard times. Okay, sure.
Well, and usually it's like it's hard times for that first novel, where they're introducing the characters. But then, like in the second novel, or
just say Grey Death Legion, we get it.
Yeah, right. No, I was gonna say Grey Death Legion started out. Yeah, they sucked balls, but second book. Oh, look, we found all this cool stuff. Look how awesome we are. Maybe it was the third book. Whatever.
Well, the third book is when they get the Helm Corps, but the second book is when they prove themselves.
Right. Regardless, yeah, there aren't many mercenary units that just kind of, manage like just kind of are constantly, on the edge.
I mean, it would have been awesome. To be fair, it's hard to. Who wants to read a depressing novel about a mercenary unit that doesn't make it, right? That's spending more time looking at the ledgers and the spreadsheets than out there blowing stuff up. I absolutely get that. I just wish that the game itself lended a little bit more to how what Look, I want to hear about everybody's failed mercenary unit out there. Let's see how many comments we get out there about somebody's failed mercenary unit.
Yeah, drop. Did your mercenary unit fail? Did you end up, indentured to, House Liao like a sucker?
And eventually learned that was the best thing that ever happened in your existence, and you became a citizen. What a way to rise. The cream rises to the top, sir.
Drop a comment. Let us know.
Or did you get seppuku'd?
Game Master's note: most mercenary units are constantly in danger of falling into desperate financial straits, whether through misfortune, accident, battlefield losses, a rapacious employer, or other circumstance. Despite what we just talked about. A Game Master can choose to visit any or all of these events on the player's heads. Furthermore, the prevailing trends also make these events likely because more and more regular units in the Inner Sphere are becoming mercenary or near mercenary units, increasing the competition for limited contracts and a fixed amount of available cash. However, Game Masters should give the player character some leeway in this otherwise even-handed administration of the Mechwarrior game system. Yes, even-handed administration. Although realism is part of the fun of role-playing, a too heavy dose may leave the players feeling that the game is more an exercise in futility than an adventure in role-playing.
Well, if it's an exercise in futility, that means they continue to make bad decisions, because at some point, all you have to do is say, I'm going to become an alcoholic, and then you don't have to worry about it.
The true destiny of every mech warrior.
Right.
All right. Tell us about the scarcity of mech equipment, Max.
Oh, because we didn't get enough bad news.
Right.
As player mercenary units undertake and successfully complete contract assignments for their successor house employers, they may sometimes receive a significant portion of their pay in kind. This may be either a negotiated share of the booty seized or the right to draw against house supply stockpiles. Along with battlefield scavenging, such arrangements represent the unit's primary means for replenishing their stores of spare parts and ammunition to keep their mechs up and running. Of course, such ad hoc arrangements are usually quite flawed when it comes to allocation. Units will not always be able to acquire all the components they most desperately need. Indeed, some key materials may not be available at all in certain areas for months or years at a time. As a result of the vagaries of war and the permanently overtaxed condition of the few surviving mech production facilities left in the successor states. Here's something that, sure, this might not sound fun for the game, but it is. Man, again, I wish the novels would have... The novels make it sound like, there's a mech-a-million out there. Yeah, whatever.
Right.
To be fair, though, I think Grey Death portrayed it somewhat okay, about as good as it could. And no, I don't even think the Warrior trilogy, but you could argue, yeah, but that you're talking House Lords there. That's going to be a little bit different. I don't want to say personnel, but that's going to have a different caliber of person where, yeah, mechs are kind of a dime a dozen, because if you're the House Lord, that's like saying cavalry is so rare. Yeah, you're talking about the king, right? Cavalry is right there. What are you talking about? So, but I don't know. Battle is, and this is, again, why I like the 3025 arrow so much, is because these things were meaningful. Oh, I took 10 points of damage. Do I want to leave, or is this still worth the fight? Now you lose 2 mechs, and you're like, we got it.
Yeah. Right, exactly. It's I like the I like the quote unquote storyline, but I get your point where, like, they start with, yeah, everything's rare. Like, everything we're talking about, this is rare. It's hard to get. You're not going to find parts. You can't fix your mech. Be careful out there. The game has absolutely shifted away from that, and it absolutely changes the feel of it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. We used to, so what we'd sometimes do, I forget what we called it. I still have them. I think I still have them. Oh, I don't see the folder. Well, I used to have this accordion folder where we had put mechs in, and I had them by weight class, and they are mechs that still technically survived, but they kept all their battle damage. And we'd sometimes just grab 4 or 5 mechs out of there and say, go. And you'd be like, oh, come on, man. I have 1 center torso armor, really? And both of my legs are on internal structure with hip damage? Uh-huh. Oh, but it would be fun to pull those out.
That actually would be fun.
It's like, ooh, what do I got? Oh, look, I have a full complement machine gun ammo, but I'm out of LRMs.
Oh, that could be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to propose that to our group next.
Yeah, so just what we did is we just, over the course of like months, is because we played all the time, is now if the mech was like legitimately destroyed, that we didn't do it. But if the mech still technically survived, that means it didn't have both gyros hit or all 3 engine hits or whatever, cockpit, blown up. We just put it in that folder. And after a while, we just be like, hey, are we going to do this? Again, we had a name for it, and I just don't remember what it is. And we pull them out and just go. And yeah, you could be totally screwed, man. Somebody could get like an archer that has like 3 points of damage to it. And then you get stuck with, I don't know, a Wolverine that can only punch. You're like, what the hell just happened here? Well, that's still technically operational.
And I know none of the people that I play with ever watch my YouTube channel, so I'm not worried about them hearing about this. But and I realize you can do it anyways, but I'm actually planning on the next time we play, springing on everyone at the very end. Okay, save your record sheets. That's what you're using next time. No, you can't repair your mechs.
Oh, that's awesome. If you want to make it more fun, say, pass your mech to the right. Make them use somebody else's mech.
Yeah. Oh, wait, at the start of the game or for the second round?
Well, for the second round. Like either do it after you declare that and the person's like looking, oh my God, or right at the start of the second session after like, okay, pass your mech to the right. Now that's the mech that you're using.
Ooh.
The reason for that is, one, hopefully it'd prevent cheating, but I mean, I don't know how you guys, handle your sheets. But the second reason is like, they're not going to sit there and be like, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Now you got a brand new mech. You're like, oh crap. I spent all week thinking about what I was going to do with that other one. And I got this new one. Yep.
Yeah. No, that could be fun.
Or roll randomly or something, though, whatever. Like, yeah, I think that'd be fun. Dude, I want to play now. How do I take leave? See, these are the things when you're not playing with, oh my God, I've got the pristine 100-ton Dicey with the, with my 2 autocannon 20 ultras, and I'm the most perfect thing ever. Yay, my 1-1 gunnery piloting gunnery is. I don't know why people find that fun. Why even roll dice when you're hitting every round? Now, to be fair, that mech doesn't have good range, but you get what I'm saying. Like, why? I love the idea of the fact my 4-5 pilot is in a mech that's got 1 freaking sensor hit. Oh, that's cool, Bruce.
Yeah, I was going to bring that one up in a second. I like Seraphis. We played using a bit of the Macross and Trotty mentality. There's factories that still run that make, say, commandos, but it's nearly impossible to reconfigure them to another mech.
Thank you. Yes.
I actually really like that idea. Yeah, and then again, so some mechs were common, but a lot weren't, and so loss of equipment could be a write-off.
Yeah, and anybody who's deep into the lore, I'm sure Brian, me for the 3025 era, some of my friends, and so forth, we can tell you instantly like where that mech is created or built. Oh, that's a Merrick mech. Even though it's common across the inner sphere, that's a Merrick mech. So if you're outside of House Merrick, you're gonna have a harder time getting a hold of that mech. Some mechs are house specific, the Hatchet Man for Steiner, the Enforcer for Davian, the Panther, and there's more than this. I'm just naming off one of each. The Panther for Karita, the Vindicator for Liao, and which house did I miss? Then I missed one. Steiner. Did I do Steiner?
Yeah.
Steiner's Commando. or Zeus, whatever. But yeah, so I mean, so if you want those mechs, you got to be in that area.
Yeah, which actually coming up next week, because the poll was straight up saying yes, they want to get the lore sections too. So we are doing those.
Okay.
The lore sections actually give a couple of mechs for each house, as far as like, hey, these are, kind of their.
Well, there's only one for Liao. In this era, the Raven and Cataphract are later.
I don't know. I thought it had 2 listed. Whatever. We'll look at it when we get there. So come back for the next
America's the Hermes. If I remember correctly, the Hermes too, if I remember correctly.
I don't remember. I just noticed it when I was flipping through this morning. So let's see. The campaign I run has limited availability and repairs to substantial time, I think is what he meant. But actually, he just put this in. Any mech that made into the TROs had 1 million or more produced.
Nope. And in fact, a lot of them will even say that only like 500 of these were ever produced.
Oh, I actually just like that idea.
Unless they've changed, unless they retconned it. I know the 3025 book oftentimes said things like, this thing hasn't been produced since like 2846, or only 500 of these have been produced, or things like that.
Yeah, and I literally just thought, like, there can't be countless designs, because we're talking about mechs and the fact that the technology is hard, the fact that the succession wars have bombed them into the Stone Age. So getting new designs is difficult.
Now, I would argue, I wouldn't say I would agree, but I would understand his point definitely more if he was talking post 3050 era, because it really does feel that way.
But even then, like that's like another thing to consider. Like, the TROs, had 1 million or more produced. Don't forget, even in the 3050 and later eras, mechs are rare.
Is that why they're dropping battalions instead of lances?
No, but like, even in the fiction, when did they actually drop battalions? Maybe they dropped a company, but they weren't dropping battalions usually.
To be fair, you're right if you're looking at the novels, but if you actually look at like the I can only think of the 4 Succession War Adventure Pack, whatever they were called, the adventure packs. They were the missions that you would go on would be a company, but if you read the overview, like, 3 regiments were sent here, and you're like, 3 regiments? Holy crap, that's like 3%, or not even 3% for House Liao. That'd be like 40, because I think they have 48 regiments. I might be wrong about that, but anyway, that's a pretty high percentage to lose, in one area.
Yeah, but I mean, I just wonder, like, how many they would actually be producing, because like a million seems like a lot. Like,
so remember, 80% of the Star League left with Kerensky. So that's 80% gone right there. So let's arbitrarily say there were even 1 million at that point. That leaves you 200,000 mechs left. I don't believe that there are 200,000 mechs. Now, I could go through the house books. I could go through each one of the 3025 house books, use average numbers for a regiment, which is 108 mechs, and not counting command lances and all this other stuff, and just do that and say, okay, Davian has 100 regiments times, that's what, 100 regiments times 100 mechs is what, 10,000? Okay, so there's 10,000 for one house. Just a rough number. And just if you assume that, okay, all the houses have 100, which they don't, 100 regiments, then that's 5. So that's 50,000 mechs total. Nowhere near 1 million. And then how many of them are serviceable? How many of them are in good condition? Because again, using the 3025 era construct, a lot of these mechs are a couple 100 years old with failing parts.
Well, and here's a point that I want to bring up. The F-16 built from 1973 to 2017, and then restarted in 2019. So, but we'll just say that it's been consistent 52 years. They have built 4,604 as of June 2018.
Yeah, and how many of them were built for overseas?
I'm not digging
quite a lot
that.
of them.
Well, sure, but my point is just that even then, and that's something that I would say is a common piece of military equipment. Yes, I realize that we're on one planet. We're not hundreds of star systems, but to say that like any of these mechs even reaches, say, the 50,000 production line or mark, I would be shocked if there were that many built.
I will give you the construction capacity of the Capellan Confederation in 3025 right now, because I know it's in this book. I will tell you exactly how many mechs are made. At least I think it's in here. I gotta be careful. Sometimes I say that, it's like, oh wait, that was my note. Battle regiment deploy. Where the hell is the culture and arts? The page is yellow. Oh, here we go. Capellan battle mech production sites. Now, to be fair, the Capellan Confederation isn't the biggest, but they still make mechs on par with other folks. Location, Aldebaran. Rank 8. Annual production, 10. Now, that's the lowest one. The highest one is Tikhonov. Annual production, 90. 90 mechs per year. That's it.
Yeah. So I as a quote unquote, I'll call it a more of a wartime production. I looked up the M4 Sherman, 49,234 built for 4 years.
If I were to rough estimate this math, the Capellan Confederation creates 400 mechs per year through the entire house. That's not even 4 regiments.
Right. So even over 50 years, that's only about 2,000 mechs.
Right.
So
there are not that many mechs, and that's one thing, again, in the 3025 era, they've been very, very consistent about, is losing mechs. I turn things into a framework that I think people can understand better than just particular math, but one of the things I used to tell folks is this. First of all, medium mech is the most common mech. It's 40% of the inner sphere are medium mechs. So if you're coming in with 100 assault mechs, there's something wrong with somebody's noodle up there. But here's the other thing. If you take a company of medium mechs, which would mean, we'll say, so company's 12, we'll say that's 8 medium mechs, 2 light and 2 heavy. Just to kind of rough it up a little bit, right? Those heavies you're going to be concerned about. The light ones are going to be the scouts. The mediums are going to be the workhorses, literally the term Battletech uses. If all of a sudden you see a lance of assault mechs, you turn to your friend and go, oh crap, they're serious.
What did we do wrong?
Like 4 assault mechs? Because assault mechs cost more to repair and field than they would actually inflict. Like, those things are expensive, and they are saved for the big pilots that you didn't want killed. That was when, okay, we mean business. And that's just a lance. Again, 3050 changes a lot of this in tone. When the 3025 era, now in fact, you should be using more combined arms. Davian does this the best in terms of representation, but all the inner sphere houses would be using more combined arms. There'd be like a lance of mechs and a company of tanks.
Oh yeah, there's a reason that 3026 exists.
Yeah.
But the problem is
nobody wants to play tanks because you hit them twice and they go boom or stop moving.
Well, no, because big stompy robots. We're playing Battletech for big stompy robots. We're not playing it for tanks.
That is true. But the tanks were always interesting to me because they were true glass cannons. Man, you could pump out a lot of damage with a tank until you didn't.
Right. Until you got hit.
Until you got hit, right. And then it's like, well, let me see. Everything except for a 678 is a critical of some sort. Great. Is it my drivetrain? Is it my turret? Oh, my turret is stuck in that direction. Freaking awesome. Hold on. Let me shimmy around so that I can... Oh, you're out of my arc again? You're a dick. But that's what, again, made them interesting. This is why I was saying in the previous video, we used to do things like 3 tanks, 1 mech.
I've thought for years, like I was talking something online one time and somebody was like, oh, well, I'm looking for a good tank game. And I'm like, why not just get Battletech? The rules are all there.
I hear the rules for tanks have changed. I don't know. And you know me, I don't like change, but if what I heard was true, and somebody out there can correct me, or Brian, you might know, I hear they're not as glass cannony anymore as they were.
I've never played with tanks.
Okay. Maybe somebody like when I played, which really the last book I used in terms of rules was the Battletech Compendium 2nd edition. That's where I stopped and said, I'm not updating this crap anymore. But my understanding is that tanks have changed a little bit to make them not such crit magnets. But I don't know what that did for their damage. But I used to love them because, man, was it a Shrek PPC carrier? I can fire 3 PPCs every round. That's better than an awesome.
Right?
An awesome will eventually overheat. You know what won't overheat? Oh, or an Ontos heavy tank, 8 medium lasers that fire in 2 rolls. You roll for this side and you roll for that side. They're fire control linked. Now that's basically to be fair, that's an optional rule, but it is written into the TRO that if one hits, all 4 hit. You have to suffer the heat and everything, but so they're an explosion waiting to happen. What a Shrek PPC carrier wouldn't be an explosion waiting to happen. It's just PPCs. But if you're talking tanks in general, yeah, you are correct, sir. You are correct. It's like Russian tanks in Ukraine right now. Look at those pops just blow off. Oh, my autocannon ammo went. Great, good times. But then you have the SRM carrier. How many dice are you rolling to hit? 36.
Oh yeah.
If I remember correctly, in one of the write-ups, and again, this is so long ago, I might be wrong, but one of the original write-ups, they botched it somehow. And the SRM carrier actually had more launchers than ammo.
We played one game and a guy brought 3 Krakens or Banes, whatever you want to call them. You might not know them because
I don't know them at all.
They're clan mechs.
Oh, okay. That's right.
But 3 Bane variant 3, which has 8 LRM 15s.
God.
Literally, the game turned into, because he was firing at me pretty much every round of just sitting there.
Tell me somebody had tag.
Nope, no tag.
Okay.
Rolling it all individually. Oh my gosh. That was the whole, literally, we house ruled all of our games moving forward that nobody can bring more than 1 missile boat in there. And whatever they're allowed to bring, they can bring 1. That's it.
Yeah, but to me, missile boat is Archer, 2 LRM-20s, or Catapult, 2 LRM-15s. I understand that with Clan Tech you can do all this weird stuff, and I get if that's fun for folks, have at it. But when I think missile boat, I think Archer.
No, I know, and I think there's some inner sphere variants that are kind like the Trebuchet is kind of close.
But that's 2 LRM-15s. I like the Trebuchet. That's actually, it's low on armor. Again, that's what I love about the 3025 mechs. That mech is so messed up with armor, man. It's like, please don't hit me. Please don't hit me. Please. I'm going to launch all my LRMs and tell them out. How many rounds? I think it only has 8 or 16 rounds too. So it's not like it has a lot. So it's like, well, I'm going to whoosh as long as I can. And then I'm like, uh-oh. But you have 3 medium lasers. Yeah, that I can't even take the damage from? No. No, I'm not doing that, sir. But that's, again, I love that about those mechs. Like, they all come with inherent weaknesses in them.
Yeah. No, I get it. I need to learn to play more Max style. I am admitting that. I still like my clans.
Play what's fun to you. I'm just preaching. I'm preaching for me that, again, my experience in modern Battletech, and I'll just be honest, when I say modern, I'm talking like 1990 and beyond. Ever since the clans were introduced. But no, when I talk, is people want fast games. Well, you had Alpha Strike for that now. Play that. They don't want like these tactics. As a matter of fact, I saw that post. I haven't read it completely. That Von Zark that you responded to, and I think he might be saying this in there because it's like, essentially, it's like I want these tactical games that might take a little longer, but I'm not worried that first round, unless you somehow get those boxcars or those snake eyes and get that center torso critical or head crit, right off the bat. I'm not worried about dying in round 1. I'm worried about you whittling me down faster than I whittle you down. I'm worried about losing initiative a lot, so you always have a better position on me. You can lock more weapons, things like that. That is so much more fun to me than I hit you with 9 autocannons.
Yeah, no, and for me, the main reason I say that I need to learn to play more Mac style is because you can ask Seraphis, who's sitting in chat right now, that that I I have a tendency like in the BattleTech computer game that you absolutely hate. Um that I would I called it punching everything with my face. And I need to learn how to be a little bit more tactical and play
Here's
the
what's going to
game.
happen when you do that, though. Now, I'll tell you right now, this is the way to beat me at the game. Consistently beat me. Put a time limit on it. Say we're only playing for 10 rounds. I hate that. But it is a legit. Some matter of fact, if you read like the adventure books and where like the Force Succession War Packs, it'll be like, okay, you have 15 rounds to do these things. I hate those. Now, I'm not saying I hate objectives that you have to get to. In fact, I find those to be more fun. They add more challenge to the game. But I'm saying if you're telling me I can only play this for 15 rounds and he with the most damage wins or whatever, that's not as fun. That's not as fun to me because I literally zero issues of running circles around the map to make you bored. So you literally stand in the middle, and I say this because this has happened a bunch of times. Just come and get me, okay? Hold on, I need about 4 more rounds so I can get to your backside and get on top of the hill and have
Well, but that's the thing is, I think those kinds of scenarios are literally designed to fight against that. Like, no, we're going to make you get in and get stuck into it. Which may not be what you want to do, but here we are.
Yeah, I mean, you can put mission objectives. Like I said, the way to consistently beat me is to force me to continually engage every round because that's just not how I play. Essentially, I'm like this. If I lose initiative, I'm backing off to a place where even if you have position on me, I've got position on you. If I win initiative, I'm going to wait to see where you go. And if you do the same thing, I'll be as tactical as I can about it. If you don't, then I'm going to find that position, at least what I hope, because I don't hex count, and just be like, boom, I got you. I'm going to play that initiative. Basically, initiative tells me everything.
Right.
And, sometimes it can get me in trouble when I forget you had that mech over there. But, like, wait a minute, didn't you move him? Oh crap, I forgot about that. But that doesn't happen all that often. But you get what I'm saying. Like if that means I lose initiative 3 rounds in a row, and now all of a sudden I went from being 8 hexes away from you to now being 17 hexes away from you, I don't care. Well, that means it's gonna be 3 more rounds until we get in a range again. Okay. like other people's like, I just want to play, man. I just want to shoot. It's like, I want to play as if I'm a pilot in a mech who doesn't want to die and has a mission to accomplish, which apparently our mission is to obliterate you.
Well, but maneuvering is part of that's part of the game. Can it be frustrating? Sure, but it's still part of the game. So,
yeah. Anyway, I keep digressing and all this 30-25 purity stuff. But my thing is this. If you haven't played 30-25, and I mean truly played the 30-25 era in the spirit of like what we're reading here, and in the spirit of what the TROs say, and in the spirit of what the old BattleTech books said more so than the new ones. I don't exactly know how the new ones say. Just try it. Try it with those 30-25 mechs without the pulse lasers and without the XL engines and without the double heat sinks and so forth. With all their inherent weaknesses. Take them straight from the book. Don't even take the book variants. Take them straight from the book and play with them a few times. And if you don't like that, I don't know what to tell you. To me, in my experience, it always comes back to the same type of person. Just has to have the biggest guns, the most efficient mech, or it's not fun. Build a mech is so, for me, 1985. Oh, no, I guess it'd be more 1992. That you can't... Everybody can build a better mech than what's in the TROs. We get it. Play at the TROs. Have fun with that. Learn a mech. This is why people say you can't be good with the Vindicator. It's too slow and doesn't have good weapons. If you play it enough, you can get good with it. I play the Vindicator and I beat Wolverines consistently. That should not happen.
I mean, just look at like take any of your phone games where all you've got is the crappy equipment. You can figure out that little strategy for those crappy guys, that works. Is it going to be the best? Are you going to be top tier? No. But there is a strategy there.
And are you going to win 100% of the time? No. Like if I were to play Brian right now, 1-on-1, Vindicator versus Wolverine, would I go home pouting if he beat me? No. But I bet you I put up, unless the dice are just against me, it's it's going to be one of those things where he's like, damn, dude, the Vindicator's a piece of crap, but look what you did with it. I know. How many people hate the Shadowhawk? Right, Bruce? The thing, it can only do 19 points of damage. I can't even make somebody fall down. But you have 50 rounds in an SRM2, so you're always just launching crap. Jumping 3 might not be great, but you know what? It's enough to get you on top of a cliff or get the heck out of there if necessary.
Right, and that adds a ton of maneuverability.
Yeah, 3. Well, again, not compared to a Wolverine, but then you got the autocannon. You got some decent range there. And was it LRM 5 for the Shadowhawk, right? LRM 5. Oh wow, I do 3 points of damage. You do 3 points of damage in a 30-25 era mech. That if I'm fighting against another mech and it's that 3 points of damage means nothing, that means it probably doesn't have weaponry, or it doesn't have speed, or it doesn't have something. It's missing something. The Shadowhawk is the most average milquetoast run-of-the-mill mech you will come across, which is what makes it so awesome. It's never horrible.
Actually, like Bruce says, it has a weapon for each range band.
Yes, exactly.
You have a whole bunch of average things you can do.
Yep.
Please tell me the Wolverine is piloted by Charlie Sheen. No, it's by Patrick Swayze.
Oh, God. I always like that the Wolverine carried a suitcase with it.
Yeah.
Where are you going, businessman? All right. Anyway, we seem to rant, or I seem to rant about this every episode. But one of these times, somebody's going to listen and somebody's going to put in the comments there. That's right. I tried that 30-25, that weird 30-25 way that wasn't even a thing since I've been born, and man, I loved it. Somebody's going to. People do that about white box D&D. Oh, TSR D&D sucks. Like 5e is the way to go. Oh wow, I played OSR, or I played white box and I thought it was the best thing ever. I'd be like, I don't think white box is the best thing ever, but you know what? I'm glad you liked it. Old isn't always bad.
I mean, that again, it's like everybody says, the best part about a board game, tabletop game, whatever, the rules don't expire. The servers don't go offline.
Right. And Bruce, again, see, I was getting a little miffed at you earlier, but now he says the assassin. Dude, the assassin is so freaking fast that it does its job well. Hit and run. Gotcha, bye. Love it. The Thunderbolt. The Thunderbolt is just a big beef. It's just always a favorite of mine, man. That thing is so beefy. I love it.
All right. Well, let's get off the rants for a minute. We'll get back to them. Let's be honest.
Oh, yeah. We get to talk about land holding. Oh, we get to go talk about mortgages at the bank now.
I don't think we're going to talk about mortgages, but let's find out.
The Lend-Lease program.
Land holdings in the 31st century. Background. The feudal system that arose on Earth in Europe after the fall of the Roman Empire was based on land and the power and obligations conferred by land. Because a king with a sizable realm could not possibly oversee every city, farm, tributary, or dependency in his domain, he would delegate a trusted brother, son, or other relative to rule in his name. This trust included the patent of nobility title to a specific property. Thus, duchies belonged to dukes, baronies to barons, and from counts came the 20th century subdivision of land called counties. The feudalism of the successor states is quite similar and has worked well in the task of governing far-flung and diverse empires composed of many worlds. The system continues because it works, and also because of the enduring human fascination with the pomp and panoply of the rich and the powerful. Trusted governors and administrators were granted titles of nobility, and with those titles came responsibility for worlds or parts of worlds. The noble would collect taxes from his subjects and would pass on a percentage to his lord. He would swear fealty to his lord and provide him with military assistance, supplies, and support in a time of war, alliance, or treaty. In exchange, the noble received the legitimacy and support of his ruler, protection from powerful neighbors, and the privileges and prerequisites of being all but absolute monarch of the territory placed in his care. A pyramid of feudal power and obligations has the capacity to tie hundreds of worlds and to a single ruler, with each hierarchical level receiving power and title to land from above, and delegating power and parceling out titles of land to those below. A man's power is measured in terms of the numbers of people obligated to him for protection and service.
We call that a harem where I'm from. Oh, wait, no, that's the Magistry of Canopus. Oh, I get holdings, don't I?
Yes, you do. Tell us about them.
Early in the Starling period, the concept of holdings became important in the intertwined political and economic workings of the galaxy. Why is galaxy capitalized?
I don't know.
That's weird. Although many nobles hold purely honorary titles with no real power of wealth or land attached to them, the most important nobles base their titles on the solid currency of property. Holdings, most commonly referred to land holdings, grants of land on some world or worlds connected to a particular title. Holdings vary in scope and value. The Duke of Omaha, oh my God, Mutual of Omaha, that's all I could think about. The Duke of Omaha directly controls only a few thousand square kilometers on Nebraska's northern continent. But the holdings include the capital of one of the most important grain-producing agricultural worlds in the Federated Suns. Go figure, Omaha's in the...
Oh, God, I'm like, what? No, anyway, all right.
Are you good now, or do I need
I'm good.
to...
I'm good.
Okay.
Nope, it was using real words for other things, and I was confused.
The Duchy of Finisterre, hope that's how I pronounce that, on the other hand, includes 5 star systems with a total of 18 planets. Only one of these, a tide-locked, thin-aired, low-G, fire and ice expanse of a desert and glaciers, is even marginally habitable. Oh, great, you gave me the desert systems. As the rank of nobility falls, so do the extent and values of holdings. A duke who rules a world may administer his holdings through several marquises. Marquesses? How do you pronounce that?
Marquises?
Marquise?
I don't know.
who each control a continent. Each continent is divided into countships, which are in turn divided into baronies. Individual barons may control single cities, villages, or even single outposts or mountain fortresses. A hold is more than land. It is a direct measure of the resource the noble can count on: timber, food, water, metals, petroleum, factories, electronics, industries, lost remnants of Starling technology, and, most importantly, people. With sufficient holdings, even a baron... What's that?
We get to own people?
Yes. Absolutely, you get to own people. Have you been to House Karita? With sufficient holding, I mean, a knight is basically owned by his, or a Mechwarrior in this case is owned by his lord. Tell me you as a Mechwarrior, Captain Wade over there. tell me that when, Mr. Davian or Mr. Hasek come down and say, yo, you're going to go invade that planet. What would happen if you're like, nah, I don't think so.
Nothing good.
All right, where are we? With sufficient holdings, even a baron can field and equip a small army, while a wealthy duchy can support hundreds of mechs, thousands of troops, and the jump ship fleet to carry them. By the way, typically a duchy is the equivalent, and so would be a march lord. In Federated Suns, it would be a commonalty prefector in the Capellan Confederation, and so on like that. So these are people who own wide tracts of land, like multiple systems.
Huge tracts of land, one might say.
Yes. Occasionally, holdings can incorporate other property than land. This is particularly true of nobles who, through war or politics, have lost the land on which their title was originally based. Chesterton for the Capellan Confederation. In some cases, these nobles live as guests of some sympathetic higher noble, often a relative, who may exact rent by using the poor relation to pioneer the uninhabited wilderness of some remote part of his holding, or by incorporating them into his own military forces in time of war. Other nobles, particularly those who are themselves warriors, claim as their holds their jump ships and the mechs and troops aboard them. They survive by selling their services to those who need them as mercenaries.
Dun, dun, dun.
Where am I here? Oh, next column.
Warrior.
Oh, that's you.
Although holds are most commonly associated with particular patented titles, they are not the exclusive domain of the nobility. Nobles frequently award grants of land to warriors in their employ, and most mercenary companies have holds known as securities. Such grants are important to warrior units. They offer the promise of home and property in the future, and a sanctuary where the unit can rest and refit between campaigns in the present. Mercenary units are sometimes offered land grants in exchange for military services to a house, which tends to tie the unit to that particular ruler and his world. A ruler may further guarantee a mercenary unit's loyalty by keeping its holding under his protection. From this comes the term securities. Warrior holds generally encompass a few hundred or thousand square kilometers, room enough for a small town with plots of land for each of the unit's people. A lord may award larger grants to units that have shown special distinction in combat. There are even several cases of warrior holds that encompass an entire world. Other units are granted status as the Lord's Men, with the right to settle within their Lord's personal domains without holding title to any one plot of land. The average income numbers on this table should be considered minimums and the cash surplus generated by each holding. All normal expenses, including normal defenses, have already been paid. So, if you get this title, you get this much land. So, like a count has 15,000 square kilometers and generally is going to have 1.5 million somethings worth of yearly income. I'm going to guess C bills.
Yeah, I mean, my base pay right now puts me at Baron. I'm a Baron.
Aren't you fancy?
No,
Baron. Baron Max.
Baron von Liao.
Baron von Liao. Anyways, so basically the main reason we're going over this is because this is something that you could possibly earn as a mech warrior.
And if you don't believe that, go back to our character creation video where you could buy plots of land for your character.
Yes, you can. All right, tell us about households.
Real quickly to answer chat,
sure.
that might be the historical reference of what a March Lord is, but that's not the way it's used in the Federated Sons. So anything that you're getting from me here is probably not historical, unless by history you mean 1,000 per 10 years in the future for Battletech. And if you want to correct me again on how to pronounce Marquis, I'm going to pronounce it Marquis from this point forward.
I'm sticking with Marquises.
Marquises. Parquet. Where are we here? The term household is applied to the retinue of technicians, laborers, specialists, wives, and children who are associated with a particular hold, especially that of a military unit. It includes people who travel with the unit as support personnel, as well as administrators, soldiers, workers, and families who remain on the unit's home, land grant perhaps light years away. Noble warriors may have enormous households to administer their far-flung and extensive holdings while they are away on a campaign. And you know what? I will say that the Grey Death Legion novels actually did a really good job of representing this. Because
it's been a long time since I've read them, but yes.
Well, if you read the Grey Death novels, especially the third one, when they get the Helm Corps, when they go after and they start wiping out the families because they weren't there. Brian gets sent away. He gets sent to Afghanistan, and then we wipe out his family. That's what happened in the novel. Even a single 4-mech lance with 4 mech warriors and 2 to 4 techs requires a number of support people not listed on the battlefield duty rosters. These may include specialists such as medical personnel, paleontologists to assess the biological or other hazards of an unfamiliar world. Yeah, let them go sniff it first. And experts in communication, electronic, and computer technology. There may also be cooks, orderlies, janitors, and personal servants, plus a platoon or more of ground troops to provide base security. Perhaps most important is a large workforce of laborers, ranging from the untrained to the semi-skilled, to provide muscle needed to erect quarters, load or unload cargo, and work under the techs in handling multi-ton chunks of mech armor during repair work. These workers also tend to the multitude of small routine maintenance and repair tasks required to keep a mech operational. One second. I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm.
The need to travel light dictates that most units, especially mercenary regiments, depend on resources of the world where they're serving to support them. This labor force of assistant techs, variously referred to as Aztecs or Asties, I've never heard Asties before, but I'm going with that from now on because that sounds awesome, is frequently hired on a temporary basis from the population of the planet where the unit is serving.
Real quick, real quick, you know that if it so assistant tech to Aztec to Asti to Nasties, go get the Nasties on this. You know that's what they're going to be called.
Yep. There's always at least a small retinue of Asti followers who follow the unit from world to world, acting as a cadre of trained workers on a new planet, not a news planet. I don't know what the hell I was thinking there. On a new planet and serving as the workforce on uninhibited. All of a sudden I can't read. On uninhabited or unfriendly worlds. No warrior in his right mind would depend for his safety on the potentially hostile natives of a strange world. To carry out vital services too numerous or specialized to be handled by the unit's own techs, there must be a staff of medics and weapons, electronics, and computer specialists, popularly called spec techs.
No, that's not popular.
Wasn't that the thing that you got when you bought Transformers? When you bought Transformers in the 80s, you get that little thing, you put the red over it, and you can see the little graph of like how strong and fast. Tech specs, those are tech specs. I remember that. Used to cut them out of my Transformer boxes. Specialists properly called spec techs, traveling with the unit wherever it goes. Many units, even relatively small ones, and especially those detailed too long stretches of garrison or outpost duty.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, too long. Okay, no, I was reading it. I was reading two as TOO, not TO. So, okay. Many units, even relatively small ones, and especially those detailed to long stretches of garrison or outpost duty, allow the families of the troops and staff to live with the unit. Most spouses double as warriors, technicians, or staff, and ideally every person in the entourage has duties in some capacity or other. Children are often in training as apprentices to the unit. See, slave labor, which they will join formally when they come of age, and the staff tutors to educate them. Before that, they are going and mining cobalt. Units that have their own jump ships have extensive staffs to care for the shipboard routine, maintenance, repair, and supply. The logistic nightmares of a military unit operating from world to world without a ready supply of food, water, and machine parts can be enormous. Anybody who's been in the army and had to deal with logistics understands that perfectly. There's a great deal of variation from unit to unit and from noble to noble. A poor, efficiently lean mech lance may have few, if any, personnel other than the warriors and techs themselves. They manage somehow to do the most work themselves, supplemented by outside people hired on short-term basis. The household of a wealthy or ostentatious warrior duke with his own mech company or regiment can amount to a small army in its own right, complete with a regiment of armored troops to guard it. A unit's household includes not only the support staff traveling with the unit, but also the household personnel who remain in the unit's landhold, if there is one, to stop, people from coming in and stealing all the crap in your house. This may include household troops and administrators. If the unit's families have remained in the hold, there will be a complete village with merchants and farmers, techs and Aztecs, medical personnel, children and teachers, all living in a tightly knit community that depends on the absent military unit or on the unit's ruling noble for financial support. Am I done yet? Oh, nope, I got more. The household community tends to be self-sufficient, compact, and stable. Any given community will have moved a number of times in its history. For example, they may have been evicted from one landholding by a war or change of masters, may have been living with the unit on a variety of worlds on garrison or occupation duties, or may have moved with the unit to another world as a result of a deal between two distant nobles. The household community's principal loyalty is to itself and to the master of the household, and through him to the baron or duke who supports them. Life is somewhat more stable within these household of warriors who are themselves nobles, with lands and holdings of their own throughout their patents of nobility. They are unlikely to be evicted or disenfranchised, and the common soldiers in the noble warrior service can be relatively sure of a home when they retire. That number's modified. So that's rule. Okay, that's just rules now. So here you go. Land income modifier. Roll some dice and you get to find out what you're really worth.
I don't know where are my dice?
Well, first of all, what's your title, sir?
Well, you're a baron, and I'm running the channel, so I'm at least a count.
Oh, you can't even step up to just Viscount, huh?
At least, come on.
That's
at
fair.
least a count.
No, how about this? How about we the Marquess?
Yeah.
Isn't that the female version? Yeah, isn't it Marquis?
No, the Marquess is no. See, if you were paying attention to chat,
I wasn't.
The Goths in Rome said the plural of female marquises, marchionesses, is much easier to pronounce, and I went with marchionesses.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go with Marquis because that's the French way of pronouncing it, and it's written in French. And even though I don't, I speak Merkin, not French.
Anyways, oh, there's my dice. All right, but what's the modify, like a die roll of 0 to 15? What's modifying this?
I don't. Oh, okay. It says on the bottom here the number found by the modified roll. So light lance versus light lance, heavy mech versus heavy mech, heavy lance versus heavy lance. I guess it's full out invasion, dude. This is a full out invasion. You're being invaded, buddy.
Wait, no, land income. They haven't even said how to use these tables.
The number found by the modified roll represents a percentage chance in an average annual earnings. For example, a baron with a land management skill of 3, whose land was not fought over, rolls in 9 with 2 dice. This is modified to a 12, and the table yields a 25. This means that the baron's 1,000 square kilometers of land will earn a surplus of 125,000 C-bills. Woohoo! This money can then be spent on anything. Rhine women are in Canopian space. You might not be wrong about that. Just saying.
Okay, got it. Oh, so this is the modifier to the roll based on what kind of a fight happened on your land.
Yes.
Yeah. So situation light lance versus light lance -2. So basically the 2 lances tore up your land.
What a bunch of jerks.
I know, right? Or there was a full out invasion, and so everything got shot up.
Yeah, they're just stomping on everything just for the purposes of stomping on things.
Right. But then your land management skill level, okay.
So this is why you don't want to fight at home. This is why you fight in Afghanistan, not in America.
Basically, once a year, how much extra cash do you get for your land holdings? All right. We are almost done with this, folks. I promise.
Are we?
Yes. We're at page 109. This ends on page 110. We got
2 full pages left, and there isn't even... Oh, there's a little piece of art right at the end of the last one. Oh, Lord. We can do it.
All right. Go, Max. Or is it my turn?
No, it's your turn. I read like 9 pages.
All right. Fine. My turn. Entailment. A noble has the right to hand out landholds from among his own holdings. He also has the right within limits to take it back. A landholding commoner who displeases him may have his rights to a hold revoked. Specifications of the hold and the circumstances under which it may be revoked are spelled out in the title contract when the holding is first conferred. For example, a particular hold might be granted to a warrior or noble and his family for perpetuity, though this is a rarity in a violent age of shifting alliances. On the other hand, an entailment clause could be invoked for so minor a matter as the lack of an heir to whom the property would pass after the landholder's death. The legal twistings of hold contracts and titles can be daunting. Thus, the household staff of most landholding military units include several specialists in property and contractual law. The death of the landholder's lord could require new title negotiations with the new lord, or the holder could find himself disenfranchised and impoverished.
I got it. My next Battletech character is going to be a lawyer.
Fighting on the battlefields of the 31st century from his office.
That's bro.
By common law and tradition, patents of nobility cannot be revoked, and those noble patents tied to a particular world or landhold cannot be separated from those holdings. Yet attempts have been made throughout history to do just that, and the matter is usually settled only by a war. Land represents a landholder's ability to raise and support a large household of staff, retainers, and troops. Land grant titles spell out the rights and responsibilities of household retainers, who frequently go with the land rather than with the house master. This can be a severe burden to retainers and servants who have worked for a particular master for years, but it must be remembered that a landholder who has had his holdings revoked is no longer able to support an extended family. There is usually considerable latitude in the legal rights and responsibilities of retainers.
Have you used any of these type of, well,
you know better than to ask that question.
No, well, no, what I'm thinking here is like, we've been reading so much of stuff that I cannot picture in Battletech because it's never been done.
No, but it has. You look at things like the Wolf's Dragoons being given outreach, or
No. I get the land grant side of it. That's actually mentioned quite a bit. So I shouldn't say 100% of it hasn't been done, but with the exception of the Grey Death Legion having their families attacked back home and things like that, you don't like this stuff just doesn't come up in BattleTech. Like all these land grants and trying to figure out who your servants are, and who your asties are, and and so forth. Like, even I don't even remember dealing when I ran a mercenary, or as part, was I the leader? I don't think I was the leader, but when I was in a group that was a mercenary company when I was at Andrews, we didn't deal with any of this crap. Now I kind of wish it. Part of me kind of wishes we would, because we had a week in between sessions and then we could talk about it then. But it was just do mission, collect bounty, store bounty, move on. If you read the novels, this stuff isn't really addressed much.
Right. And I think, and that's where I think it's more of they're providing it so that you have it. Because if
who wants to play this? I'm playing devil's advocate here because I like the sound of it, but who wants to play this stuff? Put in the comments right now if you think that everything we've been reading today about economics and, oh my God, how much land staff, how are the kids being taught where everybody else is out shooting up mechs? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like my point is, I'm not against it. I think it's great, but I can't picture anybody actually doing this.
Here's the thing. Today, I would absolutely agree with you. 100%. 1986.
We still didn't do it.
No, but think about it. In 1986, you have the Jordan Weissmans, you have all those old school players. You have
those people came from the war gamers who are used to building up their armies and talking about them and so forth.
Right.
I get it.
Or doing D&D domain play, things like that.
Yeah.
All of this stuff is the stuff that you have to consider in those games.
I just wish there had been a higher focus put on stuff like this, even if not into the minutia. I don't want to play a spreadsheet. And you could argue that, well, if you're playing Battletech, you kind of are playing a spreadsheet, but I don't want to play a spreadsheet. With that said, these kind of things to me add to role playing. Like, ooh, if we take this new contract, how much extra is it going to cost for the jump ships and drop ships to move our family?
Yeah.
We know how much it costs to repair a mech. Boy, that goes down to the cents. But what about our families? And if you think of like even the military, how much of the military actually fights compared to how many support troops compared to how many to their family?
I mean,
you got one staff sergeant married to, we'll just say a civilian. I mean, they could be married to another military person. Here it kind of suggests that, but let's say one staff sergeant is married to a civilian female, and they've got 3 kids. So you have one military member, but the military is basically taking care of 5 people between DOD schools and commissary privileges and insurance and all that other stuff. And then what are the chances that he's actually on the front line fighting a war?
Yeah, well, but again, that's what this is all detailing.
But nobody does that. I wish they did. And I'm using the word nobody. I understand that's an absolute word, but
it's hyperbolic. We get it.
But could you imagine running even a company doing all of this, worried about who your landowner is, worried about yeah, again, without repeating, I'm trying to do it without repeating myself, but
Well,
what
but
about all
I
these
think with
the support staff?
right, but I think with a good game master, I think it could absolutely be done. I think there
Sure.
would be a lot of hand waving on these kinds of things
Well, nowadays
because
with things like Discord, you just kind of have the conversations throughout the week.
right. Um, but it's absolutely a throwback to a different time. How
Yeah, and
many people
that's
would
unfortunate.
well, but again, how many people would be interested in it? I don't know. Um, I think my ADHD would get in the way, but I am still very intrigued.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't want this to be on one person. This would be on the team. Like, okay, uh, something like other than hand waving it. Okay, you're gonna handle mech repairs and mission contracts because you're the commander. You're gonna handle worried about support staff and also leveling up our characters. You're gonna worry about I don't know what else they have. I already forgot what they had on here. Like how much housing costs. Like how many houses do we need? So that means we really need to defend an area that's probably 1 mile by 1 mile just to have enough base housing for everybody here that we can keep them contained in case something bad happens. You're gonna detail up the security forces that handle that. So we might be a company-sized unit. We're actually a battalion-sized unit, but those 2 extra companies are back home protecting the families. And they're only infantry instead of mechs. But man, that requires way more than when do I put my mech on the battlefield and shoot up the bad guy?
Right. And that's the hard part. That's the why don't you play with tanks in Battletech? Well, because I want my big stompy robots.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't you playing with your families in Mechwarrior? Because I want my big stompy robots. So regardless, I do think you've got me dreaming big, Max. Oh. Let's see. Apparently Bruce has run these details on Solaris 7.
God, please tell me you didn't do that horrible box set though. Brian, have you played Solaris 7?
I've seen the box set. I have not actually played.
Oh my God, the rules are horrible. The maps are kind of cool. I actually like the map. No, but they got this 4-phase system. So it could take over a round. I think like PPCs take 4 phases. There's 3 phases in a round, but if I remember correctly, like a PPC takes 4 phases to recharge.
Okay.
A small laser, I think, recharges every round, so you could technically fire it 3 times in a round. You suffer the heat from that, though. Those rules. It was again. It was another one of those things. I think that they threw at the wall and said, "Hey, let's check this out," and then we're like,
Well, I mean, again, it was something to try. I don't know the actual rules for it, but it's like, it's like Battletech Gothic. It's something that, isn't needed. It's not even necessarily wanted, but it's letting the developers try something.
So. The thing is I like the Solaris box set could have been just absolutely amazing if they didn't try to change the rules.
Well, they probably. My guess is they were probably trying to make it more dramatic.
All they did was make it more annoying. Hey, my heat scale goes to 90 though.
Yeah, now I need to dig up those rules. I've never read through them.
I played a few Solaris tournaments in back in the day, run by like the War Games West in Albuquerque, and I liked a lot of what was in there. I did not like the gameplay.
Fair enough. All right, let's burn through this. Household personnel. Both the number of personnel and the range of their duties in the household of an independent command military unit vary tremendously, depending on the unit's size and the philosophy of its organization. Some positions, however, are fairly standard throughout the successor states. Senior Tech. The Senior Tech is usually attached to the unit's commander. He is an overall command of the unit's technical staff. Senior Aztec. Same. Usually an Aztec on the unit's permanent staff. He is responsible for the training, discipline, deployment, and duty assignments of each Aztec force. Doctor. The medic is generally a licensed physician in larger or well-equipped units, or a warrior or tech who does double duty with first aid in a smaller, impoverished one. He holds sick call, treats the wounded, acquires and dispenses medication, supervises sanitation, cooking facilities, and arranges for the evacuation, hospitalization, medical retirement of badly injured personnel. Weapons Master, a tech with long experience with variety of weapon systems. The Weapons Master is responsible for units, weapons, ammunition, and weapon power sources, including those mounted on mechs. He also serves as drill sergeant to direct the training of new recruits, and may also be called upon to act as personal tutor in tactics, weapon handling, and hand-to-hand combat for warrior apprentices with the unit. He is usually a personal retainer of long-standing in the commander's service. Computer Tech. This is a tech responsible for maintaining the household's computers and computer-based electronics. He is responsible for the computer programs that govern everything from the unit's supply inventories to the printing of duty rosters and supply requisitions. He also works under the Senior Tech to maintain the unit's battle mech computers and their programs.
Dot matrix printers.
And how. Freehold Steward. This is the chief official who handles the affairs of the unit's holdings and is answerable directly to the commander. In noble households, he is the chamberlain and administers the ruling noble's estate and palace affairs, whether or not the noble is present. Household troops. This is a personal guard of foot or mechanized soldiers who guard a unit's or noble's land holdings and who provide ground security forces, sentries, patrols, internal security, bodyguards, and support troops for mech units in the field. They may be merely a showpiece, or they may be seasoned fighters, such as a well-trained, experienced mercenary unit. And planetologist. Larger units usually include a scientific team responsible for assessing biological tectonic. That is an interesting spelling. Meteorological and other hazards on an unfamiliar world.
Did I say paleontologist earlier? I think I did. Didn't it say paleontologist earlier? Now I don't know, because that definitely says planetologist. Whatever. Well, either I read it wrong or it was paleontologist earlier.
Well, we're burning through.
Check on those dinosaurs, folks. All right. Are you ready for Castle?
Yes.
Okay. The feudal trappings of the successor state civilizations have resurrected another facet of Earth's Middle Ages. Permanent landholds connected by charter or deed to a particular ruling noble nearly always have a structure called the castle, which serves as the noble's headquarters and offices when he's present. It also provides space for barracks for the household troops, repair, service, and storage facilities for mechs, granaries and storehouses for food, quarters for the entire household staff, and a central rallying point for community functions such as award ceremonies and presentations. Garrisons and mercenary units stationed on distant worlds will try to acquire a local building to house the staff personnel, as well as the maintenance, repair, vehicular, weapons, and communications equipment vital to a military unit. When a local building is not available or the unit knows it will have to make rapid withdrawal, temporary barracks and headquarters are scooped out of the ground by mechs or other heavy equipment, then are roofed over and camouflaged. One of the most important features of these headquarters is a central combat communication station where the unit staff can assess battlefield intelligence and maintain communications with each mech and tactical force in the field. The relatively greater power of their communications gear allows them to maintain contact with individual mechs during combat, even when the mechs of one unit may be out of touch with another. On land holds, the castle is the heart of the land title, protecting the hold's village community and providing heavy mounted weapons to protect the local spaceport. On many worlds, even those not directly entailed to a ruling noble, massive fortresses have been constructed in strategic locations near spaceports, mines, industrial facilities, or vital cities. These serve as local headquarters for military forces garrisoning the area. The largest castles are vast walled encampments spanning hundreds of square kilometers and mounting beam and missile weapons of great range and power. Castles have become strategically important because of the people, resources, and equipment centered in them. In a nuclear age, such as single concentration of power and resources would be unwise, as it could be wiped out in one fell swoop. In the successor state era, however, nuclear weapons have been outlawed. Oh, yeah, okay. They've been outlawed. They can't do it. It's been outlawed. Sure. Contemporary philosophers see the castle as a symbol of the once mighty culture turning in on itself, walled off against the encircling barbaric night. Like the castles of the Earth's dark ages, these may in fact guard the seeds of new civilization that will take root in the dawn of a new day under the Corvin Doctrine.
The Chancellor is wise and, benevolent.
Yeah, well, I forget. Is that the Corvin Doctrine or Lorix?
I don't know.
It's one of those two.
I haven't read them. Trading cartels. Through trade and commerce, though trade and commerce remain risky ways to make a living, there are a handful of large interplanetary trading combines that have managed to flourish in the hostile environment of the last 200 years. These cartels also wield considerable economic and often political power in one or more of the successor houses. Some of these combines are holdovers from the halcyon days of the Star League, though their business focus and management structures are often much changed. There are also others of a new breed which developed to exploit the vagaries of these troubled times. Trading cartels generally concentrate their operations within one or more designated trade routes. They usually possess a fleet of 5 to 20 plus jump ships, 2 to 3 times as many dropship freighters, and often wield significant influence at the planetary spaceports they serve. Most planets where cartels operate will accord their fleets immunity from attack, allowing the fleet to operate freely across house borders and even at times to enter the periphery of an active war zone. The most powerful cartels even maintain small mech forces to oversee the security of their vessels, warehouses, and production facilities. The power and political loyalties of these forces tend to be very carefully monitored by the planetary and house governments whom they serve. Player character mech units may come into contact with trading cartels in a number of ways as possible short or long-term employers of a mech unit's services, as potential sources of pay-as-you-go travel between worlds, or as sources of trade goods. The following descriptions are a representative sampling of trade combines. All right. Ceres Metals. Ceres Metals is the largest remaining vestige of the glories of the Star League. One of the first developers of battle mech technology, it remains a major economic force throughout most of the inner sphere. Though it has lost almost half of its one-time industrial capacity to the ravages of war, Ceres continues to operate over 500 major metals mining, refining, and manufacturing facilities on nearly 100 worlds, producing all manner of military and non-military components and equipment. Its fleets of freighters have carte blanche at the spaceports of all 5 successor houses, and its political power on several planets rivals that of the local bureaucracy. Ceres retains its neutrality by supplying arms and equipment to anyone who can pay for them. If the firm does have a preference about which house should emerge victorious from the succession wars, it has kept it well hidden. Planets where Ceres operates major facilities include Dorwinian and Ward in Davian, Kimball and Elidor in Karita, Sarna in Liao, and Coventry in Steiner. Its main headquarters are on Capella.
It's funny because I thought Coventry was completely owned by Coventry Metalworks. Hold on a second. I got to throw a cat out of here or he's going to get killed.
Okay. All right. Bruce says the Ares conventions, while mentioned frequently, lasted 18 years. I did not know that. All right. The cat has survived. All right. The Singard Corporation. This medium-sized trading corporation operates along a route of worlds connecting the outer reaches of Karita and Steiner space, extending from Alpheka and Duran to Mosby, Ozawa, and the Karitan capital, Luthien. Several periphery bandit kings within striking distance of Singard's trade routes have interfered continually with the cartel's operation. It is to better defend against these threats that Singard recently beefed up its private mech forces. The corporation operates 9 jump-capable ships, including 3 Monolith-class vessels. New Earth Trading Company. NETC was one of the earliest intergalactic trading combines of the 2100s, and was a key principle during the first age of expansion. In the years 2300 to 2750, the company's trading operations became secondary in importance to its research and development efforts in robotics, which produced some of the greatest advances of that age. Since the Succession Wars, New Earth has switched its emphasis back to trade, though its operations remain significantly more automated than most of its competitors. NETC's primary base of operations includes the 30 or 40 worlds surrounding Seoul. The company is said to possess a unique favored status with the relay stations of Comstar and is their major supplier of food and repair stores, and possibly also information. And that's it.
Economy 101 Inner Sphere, people.
Right. If you didn't enjoy economics as much...
What a horrible map. Makes Davian looks like it owns freaking like half the Inner Sphere.
Apparently you have to pay for professional Acrobat in order to rotate a page.
Oh, I just do it in my browser.
Well, I'm not in the browser. Anyways, here you go. Here's a map of Seoul and, you know.
If I try to present, it's not going to kick you off, is it?
I mean, I can pull that down.
I don't know which one. I'm guessing it's this one. Oh, that's right.
Aha. So there.
Let's look at this beautiful.
It is kind of funny, like looking at these old maps and like realizing they've gotten much more refined over the years.
Yeah, look how tiny Tikhonov is. Oh yeah, because oh no, St. Ives is down here.
Well, and St. Ives is supposed to be like
in the penis.
Yeah, like, well,
what is it with Capellans and always jamming penises into the Davians? We're better than that, Capella.
Right, but then like also like these different marches and whatnot, you know, very straight lines. Yeah. But good old classics.
You know, it's just a you know, this is what the 5-year-old put on his on the refrigerator. Is it for a school project, and parents are all proud of him.
I mean,
he's definitely drawn by a freaking Fed rat, though. Look at this line all the way up here, all the way up into the corners. Like, no, it should be going about where this line is right here. But thanks, I guess. Always with the propaganda. Always with the Davian propaganda.
I love the maps, though. Capella, we put penises into Davians.
Look at the 3145 map.
Look, Seraphis, if you're not here to do it, somebody else is going to.
And it may as well be Capellans.
And it may as well be Capellans, exactly. Ugh. All right. That was good. It was kind of dry.
Not nearly as painful as I thought it was going to be, but probably because we took some time off to rant. But so it was definitely much more fun. I seriously was dreading this. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh God, I don't want to do this.
I'll be honest. I'm kind of dreading the upcoming ones.
The lore, really?
Yeah, because I mean,
we're gonna make fun of but we're gonna make fun of the lore.
That's true. That's true. And like it'll be fun to be able to talk about like you know, because it details like all of the early house leaders. Yeah.
God, we already read one of the comments, and we're not gonna say it. I'm skipping that part, and I get to read House Liao. No, I won't skip it. I think it's funny.
Look,
just can't catch a break, man. The Capellan Confederation, such a beautiful, glorious. It's got honor and civility and tradition, and it's like everybody's jealous of it. That's good, Seraphis. You win the internet today.
For those who might just be listening, Seraphis says it's always easier to do if you take time and ease into it. Ancient Capellan proverb.
Ancient Chinese secret.
All right. So with that said, I'm checking out. Max, like we've been going 2.5 hours. And that
our audience is pretty much checked out. Look at it. I mean, your numbers have dropped crazily. So Apparently everybody else is checked out too.
Yes, mech lubricant is probably like for purpose at this point. You know, it's kind of like that man stuff that's good for hair, body, carpet, engine degreaser. Yeah. Have you not?
I need to get out more.
Body wash or men's body wash.
He's looking it up.
No, it's kind of funny.
Hurry up, folks. Put something in the chat that tells us to end the stream. Hurry up. Hurry up.
Oh, come on. No, that's not a good one.
Well, while you're looking that up, I'm going to tell people about my channel because I'm selfish.
Tell people about your channel and what they got, what you've got coming up, Max.
So Sunday, Kevin, Sean, and Jeremy, apparently, we're going to get triple teamed from Palladium Books, are going to talk about the Palladium philosophy and more stuff that apparently I got wrong about Palladium Books that Sean wants to correct me on. That'll be fun. We're going to have a members only live stream on the 26th. I think that's a Friday, whatever the Friday is, the last Friday of the month. And I suggest anybody who is a member of Legion of Myth, you might want to watch that one, where I'm going to be telling what's going on for the next year and how we're going to handle things and whatnot. There's a lot of consternation going on in the YouTube. I guess we're called Dungeon Tubers now. It's weird, but in the YouTube community, and I'm going to talk about how we are going to address that. And then finally on the Friday nights, starting at 6 p.m. Central Time, starting at the first of the year, Game Master Insight comes back. That's where we have a panel that talks about diverse topics, like player agency is going to be one. I don't remember what they all are right now, but how do you what's the benefit or the drawbacks of AI, so forth. So we have a panel of 3 people that come on. You usually have somebody on the pro side, somebody on the con side, somebody in the middle, whatever. But it's about how to be a better game master, and or maybe you can get some food for thought, for whatever game you're playing. So check that out.
Cool. All right. So for me, I've got all sorts of stuff coming out. I've got
more wikis about clans, apparently, because I got them already in my you need to watch this one.
Well, yesterday I put up the unboxing and kind of my initial thoughts on Battletech Gothic. So honestly, folks, go check it out. Whether you're going to buy Battletech Gothic or not, go check it out. I like to think I did a decent review of the contents.
Here's how you help Brian out with that one. You give him a thumbs up. Of course, you subscribe to the channel. Of course, you share it with folks out there. And then write a comment, because that helps the algorithm, about how stupid Gothic is.
And that's totally fine. I accept those comments. But I've got that. I've got other videos. I'm actually going to have some miniature reviews for Battletech coming up, because I realized I've got like a half dozen of those that I've been, needing to get done. And RH Goths, what are you talking? What is RHW? I mean, that's not what I'm covering next, but anyways, so I've got that. And then of course I was dumb and I didn't bother, making a pinned comment or something earlier on.
You made a poll. How'd your poll turn out?
Everybody said that they want to hear about it. So
are
all 8 of them that bothered to vote.
There were almost 20 people watching. How come there were only 8 votes? People like that. You know what? Just click a button now. I'm one of them. I didn't vote because I'm on the show. So never mind. I'm going to shut up now. I'm just.
No, you're fine. So real quick, I did drop a link in the chat to my other channel where I read Wikipedia articles. I've been having an absolute blast for it. I've done it. I've done over 100 videos for that.
For the wikis, really?
Yeah.
You've already done 100? Wow.
I literally started it September 1st. And I've had a video up every single day. Midnight my time. So I mean, I'm not editing them, so I don't have to do anything fun or like crazy. It's just like, whoop, record and upload.
I would sooner do Cinnabar.
What did I miss?
Read the chat.
Oh yeah, absolutely not, Goths. You're such a dork, dude. Yeah, no. Actually, the next game is going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and my co-host is going to be my son. I'm very excited about that one. But I am going to announce that it's definitely Ninja Turtles, because I got the confirmation from Sean Robertson that I'm good to go to get a PDF of it. So
I swear, if you give that to anybody and I get in trouble,
I mean, I'd be blaming you anyways. But yes,
I will hire mercenaries.
Will you give them a land grant though?
If they're successful.
Okay, fair enough. Yes, Gots, it'll be Palladium TMNT, the Redux edition that's coming out this year. First he is your son, and now you're forcing him to be on stream with you. I feel sorry for that boy. I mean, that's fair. No forcing involved though. I actually just proposed it to him and he thought it would be fun. So there is that. But yeah, go check out Reading Wikis. Do subscribe to it. I need more subscribers on there. The funny thing is, it's not great as far as subscribers, but I do actually pretty well as far as traffic. So.
Oh, that's cool. No, that's good. Hey, real quickly in the chat here, he says Palladium TMNT, and you already answered that. But let's be very clear. He's talking about the new Redux edition that is shipping to folks right now, apparently shipping to everybody except for me.
I haven't gotten my notification either.
Okay, so yeah, but with that said, so we're talking like the brand new version of it.
Right.
Shiny, out of the box, new, improved theoretically, and waiting for you.
Right. And I'm going to start, and that deep dive will start in January. So, my suspicion about everybody that, I'll answer that question in a second. My suspicion about everybody that hasn't gotten the shipping notification yet either has dice or miniatures in the order. No?
I have 2 orders. One from my personal account that is everything. And then one from the Legion of Myth account that just has books because I was going to use them for giveaways and stuff. Literally just books.
I don't know.
Kevin and Sean and Jeremy have decided they hate me.
I was going to say, maybe if you knew someone at the company you could talk to about it.
Well, it's not them. It's to be fair, to be very clear about this. No, it's a third-party shipper that they're using. It'll come. I know at some point. I just like to bust people's balls about it. And it's funny, if I only had one person ever come out, what are you talking about, Max? You already have a book. Why are you so worried about it? Like, yeah, but the book I have right now is the special one Kevin sent me. I don't want to keep using that one.
Real quick, Goss and Rome, I replied to your comment, but Angry Marines, I have decided I'm going to do that for April Fool's Day because I kind of hate fandom wikis. And the ones and the official one that I've been using is the Lexicanum for 40K stuff. So
are you done doing your 10 bazillion different closings?
No.
So you're say goodbye.
Apparently I'm a Midwesterner now.
Why is that?
Because Midwest goodbyes.
Oh,
or Minnesota.
Well, being from Minnesota, it's a Minnesota goodbye. Here's how it works. A, you say you're going to go. Oh, got to go. And then it's like, well, before you go, you got to have some bars. Which everywhere else is just cookies. But you gotta have some bars. And we're gonna put in the Tupperware for you. We're gonna get Betty. Betty she makes the best hot dish. So we're gonna go get the hot dish. We're gonna put it in there for you. Don't say, oh, you know what? You gotta have another beer. Gotta have another beer. Not gonna let you go without it. And if the more you say no, the more you're gonna be forced into saying yes. And then when you finally get your coat and crap on and get to the door, then we got to talk about the fishing hole on Saturday. Dude, it is a thing. When I was a kid, it would drive me crazy because we'd be sitting in the car with the window down, like negative 40 fucking degrees outside. Sorry, I should be outside in Minnesota. I'm in the back seat because the heat doesn't get back. They're going, oh my God, I'm freezing. And they're like, oh yeah, so I think we're gonna hit the fishing hole this week. And are you gonna go to Lake Phelan? Yeah, I'm going to I'm going to McCusick. Oh, okay, yeah, well, we might see you out there in the boat, okay? And he's like, oh Jesus, just go home. And then you're backing up, and they're like, it's creepy. But it does take about a half hour to hour. I don't like it. I find it very rude. And I mean that in all seriousness. I find it rude, but I get it. I get the Irish goodbye. Where'd Brian go? I guess he left. Dude, can you at least let somebody know you left so we didn't think you fell in the freaking cellar or down the well or something? We got Lassie howling for you or some crap. Like gotta tell somebody, right? But no, don't do that in Minnesota. Don't do it. Don't. You will never leave. It'll be Thursday. You'll be 4 days late for work, and they'll still be like, okay, I think now might be a good time to go. It's nice to see you. Have a great day.
There's one time I must have taken my coat off twice before my parents were ready to walk out the house. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, there's a lot going on. Make sure you're subscribed. Go subscribe to Legion of Myth if you haven't subscribed to Max already. Get up bright and early Sunday morning for his show.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. It's at a special time. Thank you, Brian. It's
You're
at a special time. We did this purposely when everybody's at church, so we get no viewers. It's going to be at 8 Central, 9 Eastern on Sunday because, again, Sean's in Taiwan, and apparently it's crazy late for him or something. I don't know. Somewhere around Australia. It's probably just as fake as Australia.
But anyways, we're going to go. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We will see you next Tuesday. And I'll be honest, based on the traffic, I am debating keeping it on Tuesdays, but we'll see. But anyways, have a wonderful week, everybody, and we'll talk to you next time.